Chapter 28:37. I see. Lu Ming nodded. He could see that the descendants of the ancient god mainly cultivated their divine body and their divine power was secondary. All of them were powerful. The heart of the ancient god could improve their divine body continuously. It was normal for them to be peerless geniuses among the descendants of the ancient god. Lu Ming, you haven't cultivated the ancient god skill and awakened the ancient god body, have you? The elder, Gu Yuan, looked at Lu Ming and continued. Ancient god skill? Ancient god body? Lu Ming was curious. He thought for a while and shook his head. No. It's normal that you haven't awakened the ancient god body. After all, to awaken the ancient god body, you have to enter the blood pool and absorb the energy of the blood pool. You're a descendant of the ascetic cultivators. How could you have a blood pool? Gu Hongshan laughed. Once you awaken the ancient god body after condensing the heart of the ancient god, it will be terrifying. At least you can awaken the orange armor ancient god body. It's even possible for you to awaken the yellow armor ancient god body. I'm looking forward to it. The others were also discussing animatedly as they revealed looks of envy. Yellow armor ancient god body? Orange armor ancient god body? Lu Ming was even more confused. Lu Ming, come back to the 8th tribe with us. Soon, the tribe will be preparing to send a batch of people into the blood pool. At that time, you can enter the blood pool together and awaken the ancient god body. That way, your strength will be enhanced by another level. Gu Hongshan said. Ancient god body? Is it the giant body that they transformed into? Their strength has increased tremendously. At the thought of this, Lu Ming was excited. Just now, he also saw that when Gu Hongshan and the others transformed into the giant state, their battle strength was indeed extremely powerful. Be it in terms of strength or defense, they had improved tremendously. If Lu Ming could cultivate this secret skill, his combat ability would increase tremendously. Kids say yes to them. This is a great opportunity for you. Bone Demon shouted in his sea of consciousness. What? I've been wandering outside for many years. I'm looking for a tribe to rest for a while. Lu Ming nodded. Gu Hongshan and the others were overjoyed. Lu Ming was so talented. If he could join the 8th tribe, the 8th tribe would have another peerless genius. Of course, they were happy. All right, let's return to the tribe first. Gu Hongshan said. Big brother Hongshan, wait a moment. I have something that I want to ask you for help with. Lu Ming suddenly said. What is it? Gu Hongshan asked. I was hunted down by a group of outsiders and almost died at their hands. I have to take revenge. A cold light flashed in Lu Ming's eyes. He wanted to use the descendants of the ancient gods to get rid of the master from the Mystic Academy who was chasing after him. Lu Ming was not the kind of person who would not take revenge. Since he had a grudge, he would take revenge as soon as he had the chance. Outsiders? Where is it? Gu Hongshan, Gu Yuan, and the others had cold looks in their eyes. It's in a valley over 100,000 kilometers away. However, with just the few of us, I'm afraid it won't be enough. Lu Ming said. Previously, Lu Ming had sensed that there should be many masters from the Mystic Academy gathering in the valley. Those who were chasing after him were only a small part of them. That's easy. Let's contact some of our tribesmen and kill them all. Gu Hongshan said. Then they took out a strange stone that looked similar to the communication jade talisman outside. However, it looked much older. They sent out the message and waited quietly. Soon, several figures flashed over. They were all from the 8th tribe of the descendants of the ancient gods. Not long after, a group of ancient gods' descendants gathered here. There were more than 30 of them. Gu Hongshan introduced Lu Ming to them. Everyone was shocked. Everyone, please follow me. Lu Ming said. Then he led Gu Hongshan and the others to the valley where the Mystic Academy gathered. The valley was hidden. If one did not look carefully, it would not be easy to find it. Lu Ming had come here by accident. They stopped at a place not far from the valley. There was indeed a figure flashing by at the entrance of the valley. Obviously, the people from the Mystic Academy were still there. They had even sent people to guard the area. Let's kill them directly. Gu Hongshan said ferociously. No. Lu Ming stopped him. We don't know how many of them there are. It's dangerous to kill them directly. Moreover, they have people guarding them. If we kill them directly and they run away immediately, I'm afraid we won't be able to kill them all. Brother Lu Ming, do you have a better idea? Gu Hongshan said. I'll lure them here. They tried to kill me before but failed. Now that they've seen me, they'll definitely chase after me. The rest of you should lie in ambush in the surroundings. When they catch up, you can attack and kill them in one fell swoop. Once their strength is weakened, you can charge into the valley and kill them all. Lu Ming said. Good idea. It's really a good idea. That's right. Let's do it. The other descendants of the ancient gods nodded. Brother Lu Ming, you have to be careful in this. Gu Hongshan reminded him. Don't worry. I have a plan. Lu Ming nodded. Lu Ming was confident that he could lure the other party to a certain distance. Gu Hongshan and the others immediately set up an ambush. After they set up an ambush, Lu Ming moved and flew toward the valley in front. Who is it? A loud roar was heard. Lu Ming was discovered as soon as he got close. It's Lu Ming. It's that guy again. Take him down. This time, don't let him escape. Suddenly, there was a loud roar in the valley. Lu Ming turned around and ran toward the place where Gu Hongshan and the others were lying in ambush. Bush, bush, bush. More than 10 figures rushed out of the valley. They were all elites from the Mystic Academy, including those who tried to kill Lu Ming last time. Let's see where you can run to this time. One of the elites from the Mystic Academy said ferociously. They had sent more than 10 elites this time because they were afraid that Lu Ming would run away due to the interference of the fiendish demons like last time. This time, they had mobilized more than 10 people. They wanted to see where Lu Ming could run to. Let's be careful. This guy came back. He might be tricking us. That's right. If he runs to some strange place, we'd better not chase after him. There were also some people from the Mystic Academy who were cautious. Lu Ming was hunted down last time and he ran back this time. They were afraid that Lu Ming would lead them to some perilous place and use the power of the perilous place to kill them. However, they would never expect that Lu Ming was not going to use the perilous place to kill them. Instead, he was going to use the power of the descendants of the ancient gods. Therefore, Lu Ming naturally would not go to places with wonderful terrains. Bush, bush, bush. Soon, they arrived at the place where the ancient gods were lying in ambush. Chapter 28:38. The place where the descendants of the ancient gods were lying in ambush was only a little complicated. That was why the people of the Mystic Academy weren't too cautious. Bush. Lu Ming, who was running away, suddenly stopped. Kid, why aren't you running away? Since you know that you can't run away, I'll send you on your way. The old man in a black robe who caught up with Lu Ming last time said coldly as he slashed at Lu Ming with his blade. You're the ones who will die. Lu Ming's lips curled into a cold smile. Boom! A huge fist suddenly came from behind Lu Ming. The fist was covered with red scales and it shattered the blade of the old man in a black robe. Bam! Gu Hongshan's huge body appeared behind Lu Ming. Bam! Bam! Many huge figures rushed over from all directions and surrounded the dozens of elites of the Mystic Academy. Oh no! We've been tricked. Retreat! The people of the Mystic Academy screamed in fear and wanted to retreat. They didn't expect that there would be so many descendants of the ancient gods lying in ambush here. But why would Lu Ming be with the descendants of the ancient gods? Kill! Gu Hongshan roared and charged at the people of the Mystic Academy. More than 30 descendants of the ancient gods all transformed into huge ancient gods and charged at the dozens of people of the Mystic Academy. Even though there were some elites in the Mystic Academy, they were no match for Gu Hongshan and the others. Screams could be heard as they were killed one by one. The old man in a black robe who was chasing after Lu Ming let out an unwilling roar before he was shattered into pieces by Gu Hongshan's punch. It was a massacre. The dozens of elites of the Mystic Academy were all killed in an instant. Ha, great! Gu Hongshan laughed. Let's not waste any time. Let's go to that valley and kill them all. Lu Ming said. Kill. Let's go. Immediately they charged toward the valley. In the valley, There was indeed a group of people from the Mystic Academy. Their cultivations varied. The weakest ones were only at the True God realm. There were about 30 of them, but none of them were too powerful. When Gu Hongshan and the others arrived, there was another massacre. Not long after, all the people from the Mystic Academy in the valley were killed. The Mystic Academy, this is just the beginning. Lu Ming's eyes flashed with killing intent. The Mystic Academy had forced him into a corner, and they were irreconcilable. Lu Ming was going to uproot the Mystic Academy and Invincible Kenzo sooner or later. After cleaning up the battlefield, Lu Ming followed Gu Hongshan and the others to the 8th tribe. Following Ancient God's mountain and the others, they did not have to worry about being attacked by demons. Their speed was much faster. However, after more than 10 days of traveling, they finally crossed the boundless wild mountains and arrived at the 8th tribe. The descendants of the ancient gods, the 8th tribe. It was a huge city. The entire city was built with a type of stone. This stone was very hard. There were many magnificent stone buildings in the city. These buildings had one thing in common. They were very big. Because the descendants of the ancient gods practiced the ancient god tactics, they would transform into the ancient god body. If the buildings were not big enough, they would easily be destroyed by their huge bodies. Along the way, Lu Ming learned a lot about the descendants of the ancient gods in this world. The descendants of the ancient gods in this world were divided into 10 tribes. Each tribe had hundreds of thousands of people, and some even had millions of people. The 8th tribe that Gu Hongshan was in was below average among the 10 tribes. It only had a population of about 500,000. The descendants of the ancient gods mainly practiced the ancient god tactics. The descendants of the ancient gods could enter the blood pool and awaken the ancient god body. Then, with the help of the ancient god tactics, they would be extremely powerful, especially the divine body. However, not everyone could awaken the ancient god body. Some people whose bloodline was not pure enough could not awaken the ancient god body. Only those with pure bloodlines could awaken the ancient god body. The ancient god body was divided into 7 levels. They were divided by color: red, orange, yellow, green, cyan, blue, and purple. The first level, which was also the lowest level, was called the red-armored ancient god body. Gu Hongshan, Gu Yuan, and the others had awakened the ancient god body at this level. In fact, most of the descendants of the ancient gods had awakened the red-armored ancient god body. Those who could awaken the second level, the orange-armored ancient god body, were few and far between. For example, the ancient god king that Lu Ming saw in the base of the Ice Spirit clan was 100 meters tall and covered in orange scales. He had awakened the orange-armored ancient god body. As for the third level, the yellow-armored ancient god body, it was even rarer. It was simply the rarest of the rarest. Of course, this was only the level that had just awakened the ancient god body. In fact, the descendants of the ancient gods could also level up the ancient god body by practicing the ancient god tactics. However, it was extremely difficult. It was only possible if they were extremely talented. After hearing this news, Lu Ming was even more excited. When he arrived at the 8th tribe, the people of the 8th tribe knew that Lu Ming was the descendant of the ascetic cultivators. They were all very polite to Lu Ming. In the blink of an eye, Lu Ming had stayed in the 8th tribe for a few days. Brother Lu Ming, the blood pool of the 8th tribe will open in a few months. You should stay here for the next few months. When the blood pool opens, you can enter the blood pool and awaken the ancient god body. Gu Hongshan said. Brother Hongshan, where are you going? Lu Ming asked. He knew that Gu Hongshan was going to go out again. It's all because of the outsiders. I'm going to hunt them down. A cold light flashed in Gu Hongshan's eyes. Brother Hongshan, I'll go with you. Anyway, the blood pool will open in a few months. During this time, I have nothing to do. Lu Ming said. He planned to go with Gu Hongshan mainly because he was worried about Ouyang Qingxiang, Yu Linglong, and the others. If he met them, Lu Ming could find a way to save them. That's good. Gu Hongshan nodded and took Lu Ming with him. In the next few months, Lu Ming, Gu Hongshan, and the others shuttled through the barbaric mountains. However, after a few months, Lu Ming didn't meet Yu Linglong and the others. He didn't even meet any of his acquaintances. This made Lu Ming quite worried. Moreover, as time went by, fewer and fewer people came from the Qin Tian Star area. In the end, they didn't even meet one person for a few days. Gu Hongshan and the others speculated that the outsiders had found a place to hide during this time. This world was incomparably huge. It was difficult to find the people from the Qin Tian Star area who had found a place to hide. It was like looking for a needle in a haystack. Therefore, after a few months, the experts from the 10 tribes of the ancient god descendants slowly withdrew from the barbaric mountains. For a time, the world returned to its former tranquility. Chapter 2839. Lu Ming stayed in the 8th tribe, waiting for the opening of the blood pool. Every tribe of the descendants of the ancient gods had their own blood pool. However, they couldn't open it whenever they wanted. Because the energy of the blood pool was limited, there was a fixed time for it to open. It would only open once every 100 years. Lu Ming wandered around the 8th tribe. Unknowingly, he came to a wide open space. At this moment his path was blocked. More than a dozen burly and dark-skinned young men blocked Lu Ming's path. They were the experts of the younger generation in the 8th tribe. Lu Ming, I heard that you're the descendant of an ascetic cultivator? A 2-meter-tall young man with a square face stared at Lu Ming and asked. That's right. Lu Ming nodded. It said that every ascetic cultivator is extremely powerful and far surpasses their peers. I wonder if this is true. Today we'll see for ourselves. The square-faced young man said with a strong fighting spirit. It turned out that these young men wanted to spar with Lu Ming. Lu Ming glanced around and found that the square-faced young man was only a LV7 true god. He shook his head and said, You're no match for me. Lu Ming was telling the truth. A LV7 true god was indeed no match for him. How arrogant! Your cultivation is obviously lower than mine. How do you know that I'm no match for you? We haven't awakened our divine bodies either. My cultivation is higher than yours and I can suppress you. Come, let's fight. The square-faced young man was very persistent. His fighting strength was strong and he forced his way toward Lu Ming. The other young men also stared at Lu Ming. Lu Ming smiled bitterly. He knew that he had to fight today. In the legends of the descendants of the ancient gods, the ascetic cultivators were extremely powerful. These people were curious and doubtful. They wanted to test Lu Ming's strength. Figures appeared around them. They were the descendants of the ancient gods. Gu Hongshan also appeared. However, they didn't stop them. Instead, they looked on with anticipation. The descendants of the ancient gods were very belligerent. They also wanted to see how strong Lu Ming was. All right, let's spar then. Lu Ming nodded. His body soared into the air, hovering in the air. Bang! The square-faced young man took a step forward and soared into the sky, standing face to face with Lu Ming. Boom! The square-faced youth was the first to move. Facing Lu Ming, he did not dare to be careless. He directly used his full strength. The power of a 7th-level true god erupted completely, and a fist rumbled towards Lu Ming. Boom! Lu Ming also punched out. With this punch, Lu Ming activated the battle character's secret art's double combat power. The two fists collided, and a violent explosion erupted. Then, the square-faced young man's body violently shook, and he was blasted away like a cannonball. He flew for over 100 miles, and his face paled as he spat out a mouthful of blood. The square-faced young man looked at Lu Ming in shock. One move, just one move, and he was defeated. He was not Lu Ming's match at all. Impressive. He is indeed the descendant of the ascetic cultivators. His cultivation is 2 levels lower, but in terms of strength, he completely overpowered him. Gu Hongshan exclaimed. Indeed, and I feel that he did not use his full strength at all. I wonder how strong he will be if he uses his full strength. The others exclaimed, and they were even more curious. Thank you. Lu Ming cupped his fists at the square-faced young man. Impressive, indeed impressive. I admit defeat. The square-faced young man sighed and flew down to the ground. Bang! After the square-faced young man flew down, Another young man flew up and stood in front of Lu Ming. My name is Gu Zhuo, and I am a 9th level true god. I would like to spar with you. The young man cupped his fists and said, Please. Lu Ming raised his hand. Since the other party wanted to spar with him, he would accompany him to the end. He wanted to convince the ancient god tribe and show his strength. This way, he would be able to gain more benefits from the ancient god descendants. Boom. Gu Zhuo attacked. His muscles bulged, and his body seemed to have turned into steel. Although he had not awakened the ancient god body, the power of his divine body was not to be underestimated. He attacked continuously, and his fists tore through the air and blasted towards Lu Ming. Lu Ming did not take out his spear, and he also used his fists to fight. However, Lu Ming's fists contained 6 divine powers, and the battle art had tripled his combat strength. Lu Ming's strength was already shocking, and he had completely suppressed his opponent. Don't. The two exchanged a few blows, and Gu Zhuo could not withstand Lu Ming's attacks, so he quickly retreated. Just like the square-faced young man, he was also suppressed by Lu Ming. Impressive, really impressive. Gu Zhuo is a 9th level true god, but he is no match for him. The strength of the ascetic cultivators is indeed terrifying. Can he fight with a heavenly god? Many ancient god descendants were shocked by Lu Ming. The dozen young men who had challenged Lu Ming looked at each other. Gu Zhuo was the strongest among them. If even Gu Zhuo was no match for him, there was no need for the other sects to challenge him. Is there anyone else who wants to spar with me? Lu Ming asked. The dozen young men remained silent. They had already acknowledged Lu Ming's strength. The descendant of the ascetic cultivators is indeed the descendant of the ascetic cultivators. Your strength is amazing. How about I spar with you? At this moment, a voice came from afar. Then, a figure flashed, and a handsome young man appeared in the air. The young man's aura was vast and mighty. He had reached the 1st level heavenly god realm. Brother Gu Ming, it's Brother Gu Ming. The young men were shocked. Gu Ming, you are one of the strongest geniuses of the 8th tribe. You are also a 1st level heavenly god and have awakened the ancient god body. It is not appropriate for you to spar with Lu Ming. Gu Hongshan stepped forward and said, Brother Hongshan, I am itching to spar with Lu Ming because of his strength. If Lu Ming does not want to spar with me, I will not force him. Gu Ming said with a smile. He was indeed itching to spar with Lu Ming. Seeing how powerful Lu Ming was, he could not help but want to spar with Lu Ming. He wanted to see what other skills the descendant of the ascetic cultivators had. But Gu Hongshan was still hesitant. After all, Gu Ming was much stronger than Lu Ming. Brother Hongshan, it's okay. I also want to spar with you to understand the power of the ancient god body. Lu Ming said. He had seen Gu Hongshan and the others using the ancient god body. He only knew that it was very powerful. However, he had not tried it himself. He was also very curious about the power of the ancient god body. In that case, you can spar with me. However, Lu Ming, you have to be careful. Gu Ming has awakened the ancient god body. It is the orange-armored ancient god body. Gu Hongshan reminded. Orange-armored ancient god body? Come on. Lu Ming exuded a strong battle intent. Brother Lu Ming is very forthright. However, if you want me to use the orange-armored ancient god body, let's see if you can force me to use it. Gu Ming smiled. The aura of a heavenly god was completely released. A 2-meter-long mace appeared in his hand. It looked extremely ferocious. Chapter 2840. The mace in Gu Ming's hand was as thick as a person's waist. It was covered with sharp spikes and looked extremely ferocious. Lu Ming, you go first. Gu Ming looked at Lu Ming and said. With his cultivation of heavenly god realm, it was already embarrassing for him to fight with Lu Ming. At this moment, he did not want to take advantage of Lu Ming. All right. Lu Ming nodded. The 6 divine fires in his body burned fiercely and the battle formula was triggered to quadruple his combat strength. 3 devastating blows, sky-piercing. A long spear appeared in Lu Ming's hand. A dazzling spear radiance tore through the void and stabbed toward Gu Ming. So powerful! As soon as Lu Ming made his move, many descendants of the ancient gods were shocked. The power of Lu Ming's attack had reached the level of heavenly god realm. It was much more powerful than when he had attacked with Gu Zhua and the rest. Gu Ming's eyes narrowed and he looked dignified. Exploding spirit strike. Gu Ming shouted and unleashed all of his strength. He waved his mace and brought about an endless gale as he attacked Lu Ming. Their attacks collided. It was as if millions of explosives had exploded in the void, causing a terrifying vibration. Buzz. Buzz. The long spear in Lu Ming's hand vibrated violently. Lu Ming felt a surge of power and he quickly retreated. Similarly, Gu Ming's figure also retreated rapidly, retreating more than Lu Ming. So powerful, so powerful. Lu Ming actually forced Gu Ming to retreat. Gu Ming is a heavenly god. What terrifying combat strength. Without using his ancient god body, Gu Ming would not be able to defeat Lu Ming. Indeed. The descendants of the ancient gods were all shocked. Gu Ming looked dignified, but his fighting spirit was stronger. Lu Ming, you are so powerful. It seems that even if I don't use my ancient god body, I am no match for you. You have to be careful. As soon as Gu Ming finished speaking, a terrifying aura exploded from his body. A roar came from Gu Ming's body. It was as if an ancient god was roaring. At the same time, Gu Ming's body rapidly grew. He grew to more than 20 meters at an astonishing speed. Moreover, unlike Gu Hongshan and the rest, Gu Ming's body was covered with orange scales that shone under the sun. The mace in his hand also grew in size along with Gu Ming's body. A giant appeared in front of Lu Ming. This was the orange armor ancient god body. Exploding spirit strike. Gu Ming shouted loudly. He waved the wolf-fanged mace and charged toward Lu Ming again. The sky shook violently. The power this time was much stronger than the previous time. 3 annihilation strike moon. Bang! The two sides collided for the second time. A terrifying sound wave spread out in all directions. Then, Lu Ming's body was blown away like a cannonball. He was thrown a few hundred miles away, creating a long air wave. Lu Ming had activated the 9 layers crimson gold armor. However, at this moment, cracks appeared on the 9 layers crimson gold armor. Lu Ming felt his entire body go numb and he almost spat out blood. What a terrifying power! Lu Ming looked at Gu Ming's huge body in front of him. He was shocked. Gu Ming's power was beyond his expectation. Even if he used all his strength, he would not be able to resist Gu Ming's power. Is this the power of the ancient god body? Lu Ming muttered. He was looking forward to it. Gu Ming's ancient god body and his ancient god body were like 2 different people. The difference in power was too great. This was the orange armor ancient god body. If he awakened a stronger ancient god body, how strong would he be? Lu Ming was very excited about the ancient god body. Lu Ming, do you still want to come? Gu Ming's deep voice rang out. Of course. This is just the beginning. Lu Ming laughed. He had not used his skills yet. Swoosh. As soon as he finished speaking, Lu Ming performed the Garuda technique. In a flash, he appeared above Gu Ming's head. 9 ice chains flew out and wrapped around Gu Ming. At the same time, a 9-clawed dragon appeared and pounced on Gu Ming with a roar. Good timing. Gu Ming waved his mace and attacked the ice chains and the 9-clawed dragon. However, as Lu Ming's cultivation level increased, the power of the ice chains and the divine dragon aspect technique also increased significantly. Now, it was not so easy to defeat them. Clang, clang. Although the ice chains and the 9-clawed dragon were repelled by Gu Ming, they were not defeated. After they were repelled, they continued to attack Gu Ming. At the same time, Lu Ming also performed the moon slashing technique and attacked Gu Ming. It could be said that Lu Ming had used all his means and unleashed his abilities to the extreme. However, he was still no match for Gu Ming. He could not get close to Gu Ming to form an effective attack. Every time he attacked, Gu Ming would repel him with his terrifying strength. However, Lu Ming's speed was extremely fast. His means were complicated and varied. It was impossible for Gu Ming to defeat Lu Ming in a short period of time. The two of them exchanged dozens of blows and the outcome was still a draw. Alright, let's stop. It's meaningless to continue fighting like this. After a while, Gu Ming suddenly shouted. He waved his mace and repelled the ice chains and the nine-clawed dragon. His body quickly retreated and shrunk to the size of an ordinary person. Lu Ming's mind moved. The ice chains flew back to Lu Ming's body and disappeared. The nine-clawed dragon was also defeated. The orange-armored ancient god body is indeed powerful. Lu Ming exclaimed. You're the powerful one. You haven't awakened the ancient god body and your cultivation is only at the 5th level of true god realm. You're so powerful. You're sick. Gu Ming exclaimed. However, his eyes were filled with admiration. Lu Ming shook his head and smiled. He relied on various secret skills and the combination of divine skills to fight Gu Ming. He was definitely not Gu Ming's match in a head-on collision. Although Gu Ming's cultivation was only at the 1st level of Heavenly God Realm, his combat strength increased tremendously when he transformed into the ancient god body. He could probably crush a 2nd level of Heavenly God Realm and was comparable to a 3rd level of Heavenly God Realm. However, his weakness was his slow speed and lack of changes. Otherwise, Lu Ming would definitely not be Gu Ming's match. Let's spar again when you awaken the ancient god body. Gu Ming said. All right. Lu Ming nodded. At this moment, the other descendants of the ancient god were discussing among themselves. They were shocked by Lu Ming's strength. Is this the strength of an ascetic cultivator? Isn't it too terrifying? It's indeed shocking. An ordinary ascetic cultivator would definitely not be this powerful. I reckon that Lu Ming is a peerless genius even among the ascetic cultivators. Definitely. Everyone nodded. If an ordinary ascetic cultivator was this powerful, it would be a huge blow to them. They did not doubt Lu Ming's various means. In their opinion, ascetic cultivators traveled to all kinds of dangerous places to train themselves. It was normal for them to have all kinds of strange means. Chapter 2841. The sparring session came to an end and Lu Ming witnessed the power of the ancient god body. Lu Ming returned to his residence and waited patiently. 7 days later, the blood pool was officially opened. Lu Ming and more than 20 young men of the 8th tribe followed a few old men to a huge stone palace. In addition to them, many people from the 8th tribe had gathered outside the stone temple. They were all here to watch. Blood pool, open? An old man shouted softly. Then, a few old men stepped forward and condensed strange runes in their hands. The runes flew toward the gate of the stone palace. The gate opened with a rumble, revealing a dark entrance. Go in. Remember, do your best. The longer you stay in the blood pool, the more bloodline power you absorb and the stronger your awakened ancient god body will be. An old man warned. Yes. The 20 or so youths nodded in unison and then walked towards the door. Lu Ming was among them. When they entered the gate closed with a rumble. When the gate was closed, the gate glowed and an image appeared above the gate. It was the image of Lu Ming and the others in the stone palace. They could see everything from the outside, which was why so many people came to watch. I wonder how many people will awaken the ancient god body this time. About half. Every time, it's about half. I hope it's more this time. I hope someone can awaken the orange ancient god body. I wonder what level of ancient god body Lu Ming will awaken? He has condensed the ancient god heart, so he'll at least have the orange ancient god body. It's not impossible for him to awaken the yellow ancient god body. Once the yellow ancient god body is awakened, his future will be limitless. Many people were watching and talking about it. After Lu Ming and the rest entered the door of the stone hall, they saw a pitch-black passageway. They walked along the passageway. After walking for 100 miles, the light in front of them lit up. They actually came to a huge space. This space was very bright and there was a small lake on the ground. The water was blood red and there was a terrifying energy rippling out. Is this the blood pool? It's a lake. Lu Ming sighed. Let's go in. Remember, hold on for as long as you can. There's only one chance, so we have to seize it. Gu Zhuo warned everyone. Everyone nodded and slowly walked down the blood pool. Lu Ming also stepped out and entered the blood pool. As soon as he stepped into the blood pool, A strange, powerful energy rushed toward Lu Ming. It entered Lu Ming's skin and entered Lu Ming's ancient god heart. This is the aura of an ancient god. Lu Ming could sense that the energy pouring in from the blood pool contained a rich ancient god aura. Lu Ming quickened his pace. Soon, his entire body was submerged in the lake. From all directions, even more energy rushed towards Lu Ming and surged into the ancient god's heart. The ancient god's heart started thumping. As the energy poured in, the ancient god's heart beat even faster. It even released a burst of energy to absorb the energy from the outside world. Outside the stone hall, everyone waited quietly. About 3 hours later, the lake water churned. A youth rushed out of the lake and landed on the shore, gasping for breath. I have failed. The youth's eyes were filled with disappointment and loneliness. He had not awakened his ancient god body, but he could not withstand the energy in the blood pool. This meant that he had failed. There was a strange energy in the blood pool. Each person could only enter once. If they entered a second time, they would be expelled by the energy. If he did not succeed this time, he would not be able to awaken his ancient god body again. Gu Feng failed. Sigh, although I knew that his chances of success were low, I still had a glimmer of hope. What a pity! Outside the stone hall, someone sighed. It was Gu Feng's family. Gu Feng's failure was just the beginning. Following that, more and more people failed and rushed out of the blood pool. Once they entered the blood pool, a powerful energy would rush into their bodies. When the energy accumulated enough, it would even cause their bodies to explode. Therefore, many people could not withstand it. This was a test of one's willpower and the density of their ancient god bloodline. The denser one's ancient god bloodline was, the easier it was to absorb the energy. Take Lu Ming for example. His ancient god heart was constantly absorbing the energy. He did not feel any pressure at all. As time passed, more and more people failed. After half a day, half of the people had failed. These people who had failed all had ugly expressions as they sighed in despair. The people outside the stone hall became nervous. That was because those who could stay in the blood pool for half a day had a high chance of awakening their ancient god body. Suddenly, a loud roar came from a direction of the blood pool. Waves of blood surged in that direction, forming a whirlpool. At the same time, a huge figure appeared out of thin air. This figure was not real, but a phantom. This was the true phantom of the ancient god. The phantom of the ancient god raised its head and roared, exuding an aura of supremacy. Then, a loud roar came from under the lake. Then, the figure of a young man appeared. His body began to swell. He was originally about 2 meters tall, but soon he grew to 3 meters, then 4 meters. Crimson scales also appeared on the surface of his body. Someone had succeeded. He had successfully awakened the red-armored ancient god body. Finally, the young man's body stopped growing when he was 8 meters tall. As his cultivation increased in the future, when he transformed into the ancient god body, his height would also increase. At this time, the phantom of the ancient god in the sky disappeared. It turned into a ray of light and entered the young man's body. The young man's body began to shrink to the size of a normal person. He landed on the shore with a smile on his face. Congratulations, Gu Tong. Congratulations on awakening the ancient god body. On the shore, the young men who had failed came over to congratulate him. They were all envious. Outside the stone hall, many people were also happy. Every tribe member who awakened the ancient god body would strengthen the strength of the 8th tribe. This young man's success seemed to be the prelude to success. Following that, more and more young men succeeded. 2 days later, a total of 11 young men and women had awakened the ancient god body. However, they were all red-armored. None of them had an orange-armored ancient god body. 2 days later, only 2 people were still in the blood pool. One was Lu Ming, and the other was Gu Zhua. Gu Zhua is very talented. I wonder if he can awaken the orange-armored ancient god body. Let's wait and see. If he can stay in the blood pool for 3 days, he might awaken the orange-armored ancient god body. It's hard to say. Gu Ming stayed in the blood pool for 5 days. Outside the stone hall, Many people were looking forward to it. Chapter 2842. Generally speaking, if one could stay in the blood pool for 3 days, it meant that he had absorbed enough energy to awaken the orange-armored ancient god body. Of course, it was not 100% certain. The longer one stayed in the blood pool, the greater the chance. In the blink of an eye, another day had passed. Lu Ming and the others had been in the blood pool for 3 days. Many people began to feel nervous. It had been 3 days. Lu Ming and Gu Zhua had both stayed in the blood pool for 3 days. Lu Ming and the others were not worried. Lu Ming had the ancient god heart, so it was not a problem for him to awaken the orange-armored ancient god body. They were worried about Gu Zhua. Would he be able to awaken the orange-armored ancient god body? Time passed slowly while everyone was looking forward to it. Soon, 4 days had passed since Lu Ming and the others had been in the blood pool. 4 days. It's been 4 days. Gu Zhua is more likely to awaken the orange-armored ancient god body. I hope he can awaken the orange-armored ancient god body successfully. Once the orange-armored ancient god body was awakened, one would become a peerless genius. No matter which tribe he was in, he would be a top genius. Only by awakening the orange-armored ancient god body could one have a glimmer of hope to enter the immortal king realm. Those who did not awaken the orange-armored ancient god body had almost no hope of entering the immortal king realm. At this moment, a roar was heard. An ancient god shadow suddenly appeared on the surface of the lake. This ancient god shadow was several times larger than the ancient god shadows that had appeared before. It was extraordinarily mighty. Then, Gu Zhua's body appeared on the surface of the lake. As soon as he appeared, he let out a roar. His body quickly expanded and swelled. Dense orange scales appeared on the surface of his body. Orange. It's orange scales. It's the orange-armored ancient god body. Ha! Gu Zhua has successfully awakened the orange-armored ancient god body. The 8th tribe has one more ancient god body in orange armor. Many people laughed and were excited. Gu Zhua's body did not stop growing until it was more than 10 meters tall. He stood on the surface of the lake, looking extraordinarily powerful. After a while, the ancient god shadow turned into a beam of light and disappeared into Gu Zhua's body. His body began to transform into human form and landed on the shore. His face was full of smiles. He had finally succeeded in awakening the orange-armored ancient god body. Moreover, his cultivation had also increased to the peak of level 9 true god realm. He was not far from the heavenly god realm. There was no need to mention how envious the other youths on the shore were. Who else is in the blood pool? Gu Zhua asked. And Lu Ming? Someone answered. Gu Zhua nodded. He had expected Lu Ming to be in the blood pool. After all, Lu Ming was someone who had condensed the ancient god's heart. Lu Ming, what level of ancient god body can you awaken? Orange armor or yellow armor? He whispered in an ancient voice. Those who had awakened the yellow-armored ancient god body from the very beginning were extremely rare in the 10 tribes of the ancient god's descendants. Everyone continued to wait. 5th day, 6th day, 7th day. In the blink of an eye, Lu Ming had stayed in the blood pool for 8 days. It's been 8 days. He has already awakened the orange-armored ancient god body. However, it's still a little short to awaken the yellow-armored ancient god body. Yes, he needs at least 10 days to awaken the yellow-armored ancient god body. I wonder how many days he can stay in the blood pool. Some people discussed in low voices, revealing looks of anticipation. Time passed by day. 10 days, 11 days, 12 days. Soon, Lu Ming had stayed in the blood pool for more than 10 days. However, he still had no intention of coming out and there was no sign of him awakening the ancient god body. In the blink of an eye, Lu Ming had been in the blood pool for a month. At this moment, everyone could not remain calm. Their eyes were wide open and their breaths quickened. 1 month he had stayed in the blood pool for a month. According to their ancient records, the one who had stayed in the blood pool for the longest time among the descendants of the ancient god was the 33rd heaven. Lu Ming was close to this record. Will Lu Ming be able to break the record of the 33rd heaven? Back then, the genius from the first tribe who stayed in the 33rd heaven, almost awakened the green-armored ancient god body. Will Lu Ming be able to awaken the green-armored ancient god body? Many people looked at each other. In the history of the descendants of the ancient god, no one had ever awakened the green-armored ancient god body after awakening the ancient god body. Everyone's heart was beating fast. They were nervous and expectant at the same time. Time passed by day. 31 days, 32 days, 33 days. In the blink of an eye, 33 days had passed. Lu Ming had tied the record. However, it was not over yet. Lu Ming was still setting a new record. 34 days, 35 days. In the blink of an eye, Lu Ming had stayed in the blood pool for 45 days. 45 days, more than the previous record by 12 days. At this moment, a roar finally came from the lake. It was as if the ancient god had been reborn. It shook the vast universe. The entire stone palace shook violently. In the blood pool, blood waves surged wildly and blood light filled the air. At this moment, not only in the 8th tribe, but also in the blood pools of the other 9 tribes of the descendants of the ancient god, blood waves surged and divine light filled the sky. What's going on? Why is there a change in the blood pool? I don't know. What's going on? Could it be that someone has awakened the terrifying ancient god body? It seems that the 8th tribe has been opening the blood pool recently. Send someone to the 8th tribe immediately and ask for information. The other tribes of the ancient god clan issued orders. In the 8th tribe, blood waves surged in the blood pool. In the blood waves, Lu Ming's figure emerged. Lu Ming's eyes were filled with shocking blood light. He looked up to the sky and roared. The ancient god's heart surged with terrifying energy and poured into Lu Ming's body. Lu Ming's body began to swell rapidly. His height grew very quickly, and at an astonishing speed, he began to grow rapidly. 10 meters, 20 meters, 30 meters. He grew crazily and finally stopped when he was 100 meters tall. The surface of Lu Ming's body was covered with green scales. Green-armored ancient god body. He has awakened the green-armored ancient god body. Oh my god! He has awakened the green-armored ancient god body as soon as he awakened it. This is the first time in history. No wonder his strength is so amazing. He is so talented. I was wondering how all the ascetics could be so strong. He must be the most talented among them. Green-armored ancient god body. His future is limitless. Will he be able to break through to the divine king realm? Oh my god! Outside the stone palace, there was an uproar. Everyone looked at the scene in the sky in shock and could not stay calm. On the shore of the blood pool, the other youths were dumbfounded and speechless. Chapter 2843. Green-armored ancient god body. It's a green-armored ancient god body. How powerful is it? Gu Ming exclaimed in the crowd. At the same time, he had a strong desire to fight. He wanted to see how powerful the green-armored ancient god body was. Green-armored ancient god body. Not bad. At this moment, Lu Ming felt that he was filled with endless power. He was much stronger than before. It was as if he could destroy a star with a punch. Of course, this was an illusion. Lu Ming couldn't be so powerful now. It was an illusion caused by the surge in power. My cultivation has also broken through to the 6th level of true god realm. Lu Ming smiled. When he awakened the green-armored ancient god body, his cultivation also broke through to the 6th level of true god realm. At this moment, the ancient god shadow turned into a ray of light and rushed into Lu Ming's body and disappeared. With a thought, Lu Ming's body shrunk rapidly. The scales on his body disappeared. Lu Ming turned into the size of a normal person. He stepped on the air and landed on the shore. Lu Ming, congratulations. Lu Ming, you're amazing. Immediately, the people on the shore walked toward Lu Ming with deep envy and admiration. No one was jealous. When a person's achievements exceeded their own, there was no jealousy. There was only envy and admiration. I was lucky. Let's go out, Lu Ming said with a smile. Then, the crowd followed the passage and left the place. After leaving, Lu Ming was warmly welcomed by the 8th tribe. Lu Ming, I think you'd better be single. My tigress is very good. She can do anything. Do you want to consider her? My area is also good. She's smart and beautiful. I think you two are a good match. Suddenly, a group of aunties surrounded Lu Ming and started to matchmake for Lu Ming. Lu Ming felt a headache coming, especially when he looked at the girls, whose arms were thicker than their waists. He broke out in cold sweat. Big sister, you call this beautiful? Isn't our sense of beauty too different? Lu Ming wailed in his heart. He pointed to the sky and swore that he already had a wife and a child. Only then did the aunties let Lu Ming go. They sighed. In the end, the 8th tribe held a banquet to celebrate Lu Ming's awakening of the green-armored ancient god body. Lu Ming sighed. He felt a little embarrassed. He didn't belong here and he would leave sooner or later. After 3 rounds of drinking. Lu Ming, now that you have awakened the ancient god body, you should cultivate the ancient god technique. Only by cultivating the ancient god technique can your ancient god body improve and become stronger. An elder said to Lu Ming. This man was the 8th tribe. Ancient gods technique. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. He had heard of ancient gods technique, but he hadn't seen it before. Yes, only by cultivating ancient gods technique can you control the ancient god body freely. Come with me. The 8th tribe's leader said and then walked in a direction. Lu Ming followed. Not long after, they arrived in front of a cave. Ancient gods technique is inside. Go in and meditate, the 8th tribe's leader said. Thank you, leader. Lu Ming thanked him and then walked into the cave. Inside the cave was a huge cavern. Words were carved into the walls of the cavern. That was the ancient gods technique. Lu Ming began to meditate. While Lu Ming was comprehending the ancient god technique, the other 9 tribes sent people to the 8th tribe to inquire about the situation. When they learned that a descendant of an ascetic had awakened the green-armored ancient god body in the 8th tribe, the 10 tribes of the descendants of the ancient god were all shocked. Many masters flocked to the 8th tribe, wanting to meet Lu Ming. Lu Ming didn't know any of this. He was focused on the ancient gods technique. 3 months later, Lu Ming finally understood the ancient gods technique. In the future, he only needed to practice harder. Although the ancient god body can be upgraded, it is too difficult to do so. The conditions for upgrading are also very harsh. After meditating on the ancient gods technique, Lu Ming understood that in theory, cultivating ancient gods technique could upgrade the ancient god body, but it was very difficult. In fact, among the descendants of the ancient gods, there were not many who could upgrade the ancient god body by cultivating ancient gods technique. After meditating for a while, Lu Ming left the cave. Lu Ming is out. As soon as Lu Ming left the cave, the news immediately spread to the 8th tribe. Initially, Lu Ming intended to return to his residence. However, he was stopped by someone halfway through his journey. Lu Ming, let's have a competition. Gu Ming stopped Lu Ming with a fervent look in his eyes. Sure. Lu Ming smiled. He also wanted to find someone to test the power of the ancient god body. Come on. Gu Ming rushed to the sky. Lu Ming also rushed to the sky. Lu Ming and Gu Ming are going to fight again. The news that the two of them were going to spar quickly spread. Immediately, many people appeared in the sky to watch the fight. Ancient god body. This time, Gu Ming was very direct. He used his ancient god body and turned into a 20-meter-tall orange-armored ancient god. He held a mace in his hand and looked very majestic. Let's try the power of the ancient god body. Lu Ming also had an idea. He operated the ancient gods technique. His body quickly grew and turned into a 100-meter-tall green-armored ancient god. Gosh, it's really a green-armored ancient god. Terrifying. There were people from other tribes in the area who were watching, and the shock they felt was hard to imagine. Exploding spirit strike. Gu Ming roared angrily and charged toward Lu Ming. This was because Lu Ming's ancient god aura was constantly emitting from his body. This aura made Gu Ming feel frightened. This was the suppression of a superior to a subordinate. He was afraid that if this continued, he would lose the courage to fight. Therefore, he had to make the first move. Come on. A long spear appeared in Lu Ming's hand and he swept it out. This time, Lu Ming did not activate the battle formula. He only activated it with his divine power and the power of the ancient god body. A huge long spear, like a mountain range, charged at Gu Ming. Boom! The long spear and the mace collided. Heaven and earth shook. Buzz! As the long spear vibrated, a terrifying and boundless force erupted. Gu Ming's body was sent flying backward for more than 1,000 miles. Lu Ming was like an adult hitting a baby with a stick. Gu Ming flew for more than 1,000 miles before he stopped. His body was trembling and he almost lost his grip on the mace. Again! Gu Ming bellowed and charged toward Lu Ming again, exerting all his strength. However, Lu Ming pulled out his spear and Gu Ming's body was sent flying again. It was an absolute suppression. Baidu Search Translator, Zefizi Editor, Defizo. No advertising message. Chapter 2844. This time, Lu Ming had not activated the battle formula and he was already able to suppress Gu Ming. In terms of strength, Gu Ming was no match for Lu Ming. I wonder if the battle formula can be combined with the ancient god body. Let's give it a try. Lu Ming's heart stirred. Instantly, he activated the battle word manual, which increased his combat power by 3 times. The long spear that was a few thousand meters long was whipped out, causing the void to explode. Bam! This time, Gu Ming's body was sent flying thousands of miles away. He crashed into a huge mountain, shattering it into pieces. Lu Ming was shocked. He was afraid that Gu Ming would be whipped to death. The battle formula could indeed be combined with the ancient god body. When combined, the power would be even more shocking. Fortunately, the ancient god body of a descendant of the ancient god body was too tenacious. Gu Ming rushed out from the mountain. However, he was in a miserable state. The scales on his body were shattered and blood flowed out. He looked like he was on his last breath. I'm not fighting anymore. I'm not fighting anymore. You pervert. I'm not fighting anymore. Gu Ming shouted from afar. If their strengths were similar, they could still fight. However, if the gap was too big, he would be looking for a beating. What was there to fight? I wonder what cultivation realm I can go against now that I've unleashed my full strength. Lu Ming measured his combat strength. When he was at the 5th level of True God realm and had not awakened the ancient god body, he could kill a 1st-level heavenly god and fight a 2nd-level true god. When he broke through to the 6th level of True God realm, he could probably suppress a 2nd-level true god or even kill a 2nd-level heavenly god. Generally, those who could break through to the heavenly god realm had mastered king-grade divine power. Of course, the peerless geniuses who mastered saint-grade divine power were an exception. In other words, Lu Ming estimated that he could suppress or even kill a 2nd-level heavenly god if he did not use the ancient god body. However, once he used the ancient god body, his strength would skyrocket. He could even kill a 4th-level heavenly god. Once he used the ancient god body, his strength would skyrocket by 2 levels. Moreover, it was 2 levels of the heavenly god realm. This was Lu Ming's estimation of his strength. The strength of the ancient god body was too strong. Of course, this was because he had a green-armored ancient god body. A low-level ancient god body would not have improved as much. Amazing, truly amazing. If my strength were to increase by another 2 levels, even if I were to encounter Tian Hong, Floating Light and the others, I would be able to contend against them. Lu Ming revealed a confident expression. Although the Tianhong Saint Sun and Fuko Seiko were both 4th-level celestial gods, they were Kongxian School's Saint Sons. Naturally, their battle prowess couldn't be judged based on cultivation. Is this the green-armored ancient god body? What terrifying strength! So powerful. Gu Ming is no match for him at all. If he breaks through to the heavenly god realm, I wonder how powerful he will be. The surrounding ancient god descendants were also amazed. At this time, a few figures appeared not far from Lu Ming, carefully sizing up Lu Ming. Lu Ming, they are from another tribe. Gu Hongshan flew over and said, "Oh, they are from another tribe. It seems that the news of me awakening the green-armored ancient god body has spread." Lu Ming nodded. He thought that the news of him awakening the green-armored ancient god body was spread by the people of the 8th tribe. In fact, he naturally did not know that when he awakened the green-armored ancient god body, it had caused a huge commotion. "You are very powerful. How about sparring with me?" Another young man stepped out. This person had a majestic build, like a heavenly pagoda. "It's Gu Tian, the top genius of the 3rd tribe." As soon as the young man stepped out, he was recognized. "All right, let's spar." Lu Ming nodded. He had just gained control of the ancient god body and needed to familiarize himself with it. With a roar, Gu Tian unleashed his ancient god body. As the top genius of the 3rd tribe, Gu Tian had awakened an orange-armored ancient god body, and his cultivation had reached the 3rd level heavenly god realm. Although it seemed that he had just reached it, his strength was much stronger than Gu Ming's. Fight! Lu Ming and Gu Tian took action right away. The two of them transformed into two giants, fighting and colliding with each other crazily. Gu Tian's cultivation was much higher than Lu Ming's. In the beginning, Lu Ming was at a disadvantage. However, as Lu Ming became more familiar with the control of the ancient god body, Lu Ming was able to execute all his god skills and secret arts with the help of the ancient god body. Lu Ming slowly turned the tables around and fought Gu Tian to a standstill. After exchanging a few hundred blows, both of them were covered in sweat. "Awesome, awesome," Lu Ming's eyes glittered. The descendants of the ancient gods were indeed battle-hungry. The battle with Gu Tian had allowed Lu Ming to unleash his combat abilities to his heart's content. His application and comprehension of various divine skills had improved to a higher level. "Impressive, let's fight another day." After fighting for so long, Gu Tian was almost exhausted. He had no choice but to call it a day. Lu Ming nodded and returned to his residence to meditate. In the following days, either the experts of the ancient god clan would come to Lu Ming to spar, or Lu Ming would take the initiative to fight with the experts of the ancient god clan. He continued to hone his combat strength and the use of various god skills and secret arts. Gradually, Lu Ming became more familiar with the use of various god skills and secret arts that he had mastered. They worked together seamlessly. In this way, Lu Ming stayed in the tribe of the descendants of the ancient god for 5 years. In these 5 years, he had visited the 10 major tribes of the descendants of the ancient god. The descendants of the ancient god were very forthright. They had completely treated Lu Ming as one of their own. Lu Ming had also made many friends here, such as Gu Tian and Gu Ming. They would spar with each other from time to time. In these 5 years, Lu Ming hadn't met anyone from the Qin Tian star area. However, he knew from the other descendants of the ancient god that the people from the Qin Tian star area were still in this world. They hadn't gone out, but were hiding in various places. Lu Ming guessed that the door to the outside world hadn't been opened yet. Therefore, Lu Ming wasn't in a hurry. 5 years later, Lu Ming planned to go to the North Wasteland Devil Field in this world. "Lu Ming, you want to go to the North Wasteland Devil Field?" When Lu Ming told Gu Hongshan his plan, Gu Hongshan's expression changed. The North Wasteland Devil Field was in the extreme north of the ancient god world. It was said that there were countless demons there. Moreover, the demons there were different from the demons that Lu Ming and the others had encountered when they had just entered this world. Many demons there had intelligence and were more powerful. The demons in the North Wasteland Devil Field had always been the sworn enemies of the descendants of the ancient god. The two sides had been killing each other for countless years. Therefore, Gu Hongshan's expression changed when he heard Lu Ming's words. "Lu Ming, I know you're the descendant of the ascetic cultivators. You need to go into all kinds of dangerous places to train yourself. However, the North Wasteland Devil Field is very dangerous. You still need to be careful." Gu Hongshan warned him seriously. "Brother Hongshan, don't worry. I know." Lu Ming nodded and said, although he could train himself here, he couldn't have life and death battles. After all, Lu Ming wouldn't be able to train himself here. Therefore, Lu Ming chose to go to the North Wasteland Devil Field. Baidu Search Translator, Zefizi Editor, Defizo. No advertising message. Chapter 2845. Lu Ming took his leave and embarked on his journey to the northern wasteland Devil Field alone. Cold winds howled and the world was covered in a vast expanse. Lu Ming didn't fly but walked on the ground at a steady pace. The resources on this land were more abundant than the area where Lu Ming and the others had just entered. Lu Ming had only been here for 7 days and he had already obtained many heavenly treasures. He gave most of the divine medicines to the measuring character formula and gave most of the metal element materials to Qiuqiu. With a roar, a gust of demonic wind surged. At the same time, a giant creature pounced on Lu Ming. It was a tiger-shaped demon with a cultivation of level 3 heavenly god realm. In an instant, Lu Ming activated the battle character formula, which increased his combat strength by 3 times and swept out his spear. Clang! Lu Ming's spear struck the sharp claws of the tiger-shaped demon, producing a clang and sparks. Swoosh! Lu Ming retreated rapidly. He only managed to stabilize himself after retreating a few thousand meters. Descendant of the ancient god, how dare you come to the northern wasteland Devil Field? The tiger-shaped demon roared and charged at Lu Ming again. Indeed, it has a high level of intelligence. Lu Ming's eyes flashed. The demons they had encountered when they first entered the ancient god realm had no intelligence. It was said that some demons in the northern wasteland Devil Field had intelligence. Demons with intelligence were undoubtedly more terrifying. Qiuqiu. Lu Ming waved his hand and Qiuqiu flew out. Its body was covered in lightning and a bolt of lightning struck out. This bolt of lightning directly hit the tiger-shaped demon and sent it flying. The tiger-shaped demon roared. It was severely injured but not dead. It struggled to get up with a look of fear on its face. Then it turned and ran. Demons are indeed stronger than ordinary cultivators. With a thought, Lu Ming moved and chased after the tiger-shaped fiendish demon. If a third-level celestial god from the Qin Tian star field was struck by Qiuqiu's lightning, they would definitely die. However, this demon was only heavily injured and not dead. Lu Ming executed the Garuda technique and rapidly closed the distance between him and the tiger-shaped demon. Descendant of the ancient god, the one who will die today is you. At this moment, the tiger-shaped demon suddenly stopped, turned around and roared ferociously. Not good. Suddenly, Lu Ming's heart tightened as he sensed danger. Roar, roar, roar. At the side, roaring like thunder, a total of 4 demons rushed out and charged towards Lu Ming. Each demon had a cultivation of the 3rd-layer heaven god realm. Their murderous intent was as sharp as a blade. They had been ambushed. Demons with intelligence were indeed terrifying. They had actually set up an ambush here in advance to lure Lu Ming here. Lu Ming had been too careless. He did not think that the demons would ambush him, which was why he had fallen into their trap. 4 third-layer heaven god realm demons charged at Lu Ming from all directions. This was a sure-kill situation. They wanted to kill Lu Ming in one fell swoop. If this was the extent of Lu Ming's means, he would be in danger. It would be the same even if he had Qiuqiu. Qiuqiu might be able to stop 1 or 2 demons, but it would definitely not be able to stop 4. However, Lu Ming still had a trump card. Ancient god body. Lu Ming let out a low growl. His body swelled rapidly, transforming into a 100-meter-tall giant. His entire body was covered with green scales. Sky-piercing. Lu Ming shook his spear. The spear in his hand turned into 4 spear glows and stabbed from 4 different directions. The sound of 4 sharp blades piercing through flesh rang out. The 4 demons screamed in agony as their bodies were sent flying. Their bodies had all been pierced through, for bloody holes had appeared in their bodies. They lay on the ground, no longer breathing. 4 third-layer heaven god realm demons were killed in a single move. Ancient god body, green-armored ancient god body, how is this possible? The tiger-shaped demon from before yelled in disbelief. Nothing is impossible, kill. Lu Ming yelled. He stepped forward and slashed his spear downward, killing the tiger-shaped demon. As such, the 4 demons were killed. There were no other demons around. Lu Ming's body shrunk to the size of an ordinary person. Demons with intelligence should not be underestimated. I should be more careful from now on. Lu Ming warned himself. He then continued to wander and train himself. Spring went and autumn came. Time passed year after year. 50 years had passed in the blink of an eye. Lu Ming had been cultivating in the northern wasteland demon plane for 50 years. In these 50 years, Lu Ming seemed to have turned into an ascetic cultivator. Of course, Lu Ming had also benefited a lot in these 50 years. The resources in this domain were too abundant. The quantifying character formula had devoured a huge amount of divine herbs and transferred their energy to Lu Ming after refining them. Lu Ming's cultivation had improved from the 6th layer True God realm to the 8th layer True God realm. Moreover, after 50 years of fighting and tempering, he had made great progress in all kinds of divine skills. The 9 heavens Kunpeng art, the 9-layered crimson golden armor, and the apocalyptic 3 strikes had all reached the 6th layer and the peak of the 6th layer. This allowed Lu Ming's cultivation to soar to a new height. It was worth mentioning that Qiuqiu's cultivation had improved by 2 layers after consuming a huge amount of metal-type materials. It had reached the 3rd layer Heaven God realm. Its improvement was even faster than Lu Ming's. Good wine. On a huge ancient tree, Lu Ming was lying on a branch. He held a wine gourd and took a sip. He could not help but exclaim in satisfaction. The wine in the gourd was brewed by other demons using countless treasures. Lu Ming had obtained it by chance. It was a peerless wine. Lu Ming fell in love with it as soon as he drank it. Lying on the branch and drinking wine, Lu Ming felt extremely satisfied. Good. Unfortunately, I can't do that with my current cultivation. Lu Ming sighed softly. Suddenly, Lu Ming's gaze flickered. He saw a few figures flashing by not far away and flying toward the front. Those figures were not demons, but people from the Qin Tian starfield. Experts from the Mystic Academy. Lu Ming's eyes flashed. Judging from their clothes, those people were from the Mystic Academy. Why would people from the Mystic Academy appear in the northern wasteland? Strange, let's go and have a look. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. He then followed them carefully. Lu Ming followed them on the ground. Those people did not notice him at all. Lu Ming circulated his divine power to his ears and listened carefully to their conversation. Hurry up, Lord Deity King has summoned us. We can't be late. One of them said. I wonder why Lord Deity King has summoned us in such a hurry this time? Another person asked. It's all because of the ancient god's descendants. Last time, the ones who attacked our base were the ancient god's descendants. Moreover, the divine king has found out that the ancient god's descendants have a large number of treasures. There are even treasures that can transform a person into an ancient god's body. Therefore, this time, many forces of the Qin Tian star field have joined forces with the northern wasteland devil field to wipe out the ancient god's descendants and seize their treasures. The first person said. Baidu search translator, Zefizi editor, Defizo. No advertisement. Chapter 2846. I see. Haha, I hope we can get some soup when the Supreme Being eats the meat. A burly man from the Mystic Academy burst out laughing. The experts of the Qin Tian starfield have formed an alliance with the demon beasts of the northern wasteland demon plane to attack the descendants of the ancient gods. Lu Ming was shocked when he heard the news. Lu Ming did not expect such a thing to happen. After hearing this news, the first thing that came to Lu Ming's mind was to rush back to the tribe of the descendants of the ancient god and inform them. The tribe of the descendants of the ancient gods had lived here since ancient times. They did not compete with the rest of the world. When they attacked Lu Ming and his group, they only treated Lu Ming and his group as invaders. Therefore they had to fight back. Besides, Lu Ming had stayed in the tribe of the descendants of the ancient gods for 5 years. He had learned a lot from the tribe of the descendants of the ancient gods and had treated them as his friends. He definitely wouldn't watch his friends get into trouble. Wait! Suddenly, an old man from the Mystic Academy yelled and came to a stop. What's wrong? The rest of the group was taken aback. Someone is following us. Who is it? Get the hell out here. The old man glanced in Lu Ming's direction with cold eyes. I've been discovered. Such sharp senses. Lu Ming's eyes turned cold. You're courting death if you don't come out. The old man from the Mystic Academy was decisive. He made his move when he saw Lu Ming did not come out. His hand was like a saber as he slashed forward. A pitch-black demonic saber slashed at Lu Ming's direction. Lu Ming executed the Nine Heavens Kunpeng art and dodged the slash with a flicker. Rumble. The demonic saber slashed at the ground, leaving a deep ravine that stretched for a few 100,000 meters. Sixth layer Heaven God Realm. Lu Ming straightened his face. The old man was a sixth layer Heaven God Realm expert. The old man saw Lu Ming as soon as he moved. Lu Ming, it's Lu Ming. It's that kid. The 5 people from the Mystic Academy unleashed cold, murderous intents. That being said, their eyes were filled with astonishment too. They did not expect to stumble into Lu Ming here. This is truly a case of traveling far and wide in search of something, only to find it by chance without any effort. So this brat was actually here. Just nice. I'll kill him and ask the Divine King for a reward. No, let's not kill him first. Let's cripple him first. My turn. A burly man took a few steps forward and transformed into a saber gleam, charging toward Lu Ming. He was a 5th layer Heaven God Realm. If it was 50 years ago, Lu Ming could only turn and run when he encountered a 5th level celestial god. However, Lu Ming was not the same Lu Ming's back then. Bang. Moon slashing. Lu Ming swung his spear, firing a crescent-shaped spear glow. Bang. There was a terrifying collision between the two sides. The crescent-shaped spear gleam shook violently and then shattered. Lu Ming's figure retreated rapidly. However, although Lu Ming retreated rapidly, he managed to block the other party's move. What? The people of the Mystic Academy were astounded. Lu Ming managed to block the attack of a 5th layer Heaven God Realm expert. Lu Ming actually possessed such strength? This kid. Their eyes were filled with great astonishment. The bulky man saw Lu Ming blocking his attack. In the midst of his astonishment, he charged at Lu Ming with murderous intent. The pitch-black demonic saber slashed at Lu Ming across a distance of 10,000 li whoosh. Lu Ming executed the Nine Heavens Kunpeng technique and dodged the attack. Instead of advancing, he retreated and charged at the middle-aged bulky man. Qiu. Lu Ming transmitted his voice to Qiu and threw a punch. Qiu had been in the form of a bracelet on Lu Ming's wrist. At this moment, dazzling lightning filled the air. A bolt of lightning as thick as an arm shot out from Lu Ming's wrist and blasted toward the middle-aged burly man. Petty tricks, break. The middle-aged bulky man was unconcerned. He slashed his saber to break the lightning. Oh no, be careful. The old man with sharp spiritual sense noticed the unusual lightning and warned Qiu. However, it was too late. Bang. The lightning shattered the opponent's saber glow and landed on his body. The other party was sent flying. His entire body was charred black. He was already breathing more than he was breathing in. With Qiu's current cultivation, it wasn't difficult for him to kill a 5th layer Heaven God Realm expert if he was caught off guard. Damn it. Let's attack together and cripple this kid. The remaining 4 cultivators of the Mystic Academy yelled and unleashed their murderous intent. They did not make a move previously because the middle-aged burly man alone was enough to kill Lu Ming. There was no need for them to make a move. They did not expect Lu Ming to be so powerful. The remaining 4 people launched their attacks one after another and charged toward Lu Ming. Each of them exuded a powerful aura. 2 6th layer Heaven Gods and 2 5th layer Heaven Gods. Lu Ming's eyes glittered. His opponent's strength had far exceeded his imagination. Let's go. Lu Ming turned around and left. Trying to run away? No one can save you today, kid. The 4 cultivators of the Mystic Academy chased after Lu Ming at a shocking speed. The 2 6th layer Heaven Gods in particular had practiced speed-related god skills. Their mastery of them was higher than Lu Ming's, thus their speed was faster than Lu Ming's. They rapidly closed the distance between them and Lu Ming. Humph, who said I'm running away? Lu Ming murmured in his heart. His eyes flickered with wisdom. He had never thought of running away from the beginning. He was planning to kill all his enemies at once. With his current strength, it wasn't impossible for him to cooperate with Qiuqiu. Qiuqiu, I'll leave the old man to you. Keep him busy. Lu Ming transmitted his voice to Qiuqiu. Don't worry, leave it to me. Qiuqiu's voice was heard. Go! Lu Ming waved his hand and Qiuqiu flew toward the old man at high speed. It then transformed into a huge metal ball. Two battle sabers extended from its body and slashed at the old man madly. A metal life form, die. The old man roared and slashed out with his demonic saber, trying to kill Qiuqiu. However, the two of them clashed continuously. His attack was blocked by Qiuqiu. At the same time, Qiuqiu would release lightning from time to time during the battle. With Qiuqiu's current strength, it could fight against a 6th-layer heaven god if it went all out. You guys go and kill that kid. The old man roared. Needless to say, the other three also chased after Lu Ming. Kid, you can't run away. Die, strange demon divine palm. The other 6th-layer heaven god was an old man in a black robe. He threw out a palm and a pitch-black palm print flew toward Lu Ming with shocking power. Divine dragon aspect, moon slashing. Lu Ming roared and instantly used two of his strongest moves, the divine dragon aspect art and the 3 strokes of destruction. He finally reacted and wanted to dodge, but it was already too late. The black-robed old man was directly killed by Lu Ming. A 6th-level celestial god was killed by Lu Ming with a single strike of his spear when he had underestimated his opponent and was in a daze. Then, the 2 5th-layer heaven gods finally reacted and quickly retreated. However, how could Lu Ming let them retreat? He pressed his spear and attacked the 2 of them. When Lu Ming used the ancient god flesh, his strength was enough to fight against a 6th-layer heaven god realm expert. It was not difficult for him to deal with a 5th-layer heaven god realm expert. In addition, the other party was panicking and had no intention to fight, thus they were crushed by Lu Ming. Lu Ming was 100 meters tall. He roared into the sky like an ancient god being reborn. The terrifying aura of the ancient god spread out, causing the 2 of them to tremble in fear. Bang! One of them was swept by Lu Ming's spear and exploded in the air. Help! The remaining 5th-layer heaven god realm expert was scared out of his wits. He desperately rushed toward the old man who was fighting with Qiuqiu. How could this be? The old man was also scared out of his wits. This scene was completely out of his expectations. He was careless and was almost hit by Qiuqiu. He quickly blocked it. Die! Lu Ming's cold voice sounded. His huge figure seemed to follow the spear and turned into a ray of spear light, piercing out. The 5th-layer heaven god realm expert was pierced through by Lu Ming's spear and killed in the air. In this way, only the old man was left. Damn it, get lost, get lost. The old man was almost scared to death. He frantically attacked Qiuqiu, trying to push Qiuqiu back and escape. However, Qiuqiu's body was like liquid metal. It had many changes and was unpredictable. Its ability to entangle people was stronger than his battle strength. It tightly entangled the old man. At this time, Lu Ming had already arrived. Let me send you on your way. Lu Ming waved his spear and joined forces with Qiuqiu to attack the old man. There was no suspense in this battle. Both Qiuqiu and Lu Ming could fight the old man alone. The old man's fate was already decided when the 2 of them joined forces. The old man tried his best to resist more than 10 moves. Finally, Qiuqiu found an opportunity and struck his head with a lightning strike. Then, Lu Ming swept his spear and killed the old man. Let's go, let's leave. Lu Ming put away the storage rings of the 5 people of the Mystic Academy and quickly left with Qiuqiu. Lu Ming had to return to the tribe of the descendants of the ancient gods to inform them of the news. From the information that he had gathered, Lu Ming came to a conclusion. The door to the outside world had not been opened yet. Lu Ming went south and finally returned to the 8th tribe 7 days later. Lu Ming is back. Lu Ming's return caused a stir. Lu Ming, you're finally back. It seems that you've become stronger. If this continues, I'm afraid that I won't be able to defeat you soon. When Gu Hongshan saw Lu Ming, he patted Lu Ming's shoulder and laughed. There was a look of relief in his eyes. He was worried about Lu Ming going to the northern wasteland devil field. Lu Ming felt warm in his heart. He quickly said, "Where's the chief? I have something important to tell you." "Something important? Come with me." Gu Hongshan nodded and led Lu Ming into the tribe. Soon, they saw the chief of the 8th tribe in a huge stone house. The chief of the 8th tribe smiled and said, "Lu Ming, you said that you have something urgent to tell me. What's the matter?" "Chief, I've discovered a big secret in the northern wasteland devil field. The outsiders have joined forces with the Demon Beast Alliance to attack our 10 tribes." Lu Ming told him the news he had heard. What? The chief of the 8th tribe, Gu Hongshan, and the others were shocked. "Lu Ming, is what you said true?" The chief of the 8th tribe asked seriously. "It's absolutely true. I overheard it from a few outsiders." Lu Ming said, "Quick, spread the news to the other 9 tribes. Also, summon all the tribesmen who are training outside and prepare for the war." The chief of the 8th tribe gave the order without hesitation. Gu Hongshan and several other high-level officials accepted the order and then left to make arrangements. Baidu search 81 Chinese website. No advertising message. Chapter 2848. After that, Lu Ming also left. The other 9 tribes of the ancient god descendants also started to prepare for war after receiving the news. They gathered all the powerful clansmen back and set up heavy defenses around the tribes. The demons in the northern wasteland demonic plane were very terrifying and powerful. There were many demon kings and their overall strength was similar to the 10 tribes of the ancient god descendants. That was why the 2 sides had been fighting for so long and neither side could defeat the other. However, if the experts from the Qin star field joined in, the balance would be broken. More than a dozen god kings had come from the Qin star field. Moreover, they were all extremely powerful existences. More than a dozen powerful divine kings and countless heavenly gods joined forces with the demons from the northern wasteland devil plains. It was enough to annihilate the descendants of the ancient gods. This was a life and death crisis for the ancient god descendants. The 10 tribes were nervously preparing for war. Half a month had passed, but there was no movement in the northern wasteland demonic plane. There's no movement until now. Is the news fake? Have we been fooled? Some of the people in the 10 tribes started to discuss. The roars of demons came from the north, completely destroying the doubtful opinions. Countless demons emerged from the northern wasteland demonic plane and attacked the 10 tribes of the ancient god descendants. The experts from the Qin star field could also be seen among the demons. Boom! Outside the 8th tribe, countless demons rushed toward the 8th tribe. There were so many of them that it was more than the number of demons that besieged the Ice Soul clan's base a few decades ago. A few earth-shattering roars could be heard from the back of the army of the monster race and demon race. A few gigantic creatures could be seen looming in the distant void. However, the terrifying aura they exuded made everyone feel as though they were suffocating. That was the Demon King. The Demon King was equivalent to the King of Gods, the existence of the Divine King realm. Defeat the descendants of the ancient god for me. All the descendants of the ancient god will be at your disposal. A demon king's voice spread across the battlefield. It was said that once the demons devoured the descendants of the ancient god and merged with the blood of the ancient god descendants, they would be able to develop spiritual intelligence. Now, the demons in the northern wasteland devil plane that had gained sentience had devoured the descendants of the ancient gods. It was no wonder that the demons had joined forces with the experts from the Qin starfield. They had benefited from each other. The demons wanted to devour the descendants of the ancient gods, while the experts of the Qin starfield wanted the treasures of the ancient gods. Rumble roar roar countless demons roared and charged toward the 8th tribe with bloodshot eyes. Kill all these demons. The warriors of the 8th tribe roared. They stood on the city wall, took out their big bows, and shot out arrows one after another. These arrows were extremely powerful. Some of the stronger demons had their bodies pierced by the arrows and were nailed to the ground. However, the number of fiendish demons was endless. They continued to attack like a tidal wave. Soon, the two sides were engaged in close combat. Every descendant of the ancient gods who could transform into an ancient god body did so. On the city wall of the 8th tribe, tall and majestic figures appeared one after another. They roared and brandished all kinds of weapons, fighting with the fiendish demons. Lu Ming also transformed into an ancient god body and stabbed out with his long spear, killing the fiendish demons one after another. An earth-shattering roar was heard. The demon king attacked from the sky. A terrifying aura covered the sky. It was extremely terrifying. Kill! A few figures rushed out from the 8th tribe. They were all over 100 meters tall. They were the divine kings of the 8th tribe. The divine kings from both sides engaged in a terrifying battle in the sky. It was hard to tell who would win. However, after a while, a figure the size of an ordinary person came from afar, exuding a terrifying aura. Divine King, another divine king. The divine king of the Mystic Academy. Lu Ming narrowed his eyes. Lu Ming was very familiar with this divine king. He was the one who led the people of the Mystic Academy to the Ice Soul Tribe's base to kill Lu Ming. Lu Ming would never forget. When the God Kings of the Hybrid Demon Academy joined the battle, the situation immediately shifted in favor of the monster demons. The God Kings of the 8th tribe were gradually losing ground. In the end, the divine kings of the 8th tribe could only retreat. They returned to the 8th tribe and activated the Grand Array to fend off the fiendish demons' attack. The 8th tribe managed to fend off the fiendish demons' attack with the help of the Grand Array. Swoosh! Outside the Grand Array, a few giant demon kings and the divine kings of the Mystic Academy stood outside and watched coldly. Suddenly, another tall figure walked over from another direction. The divine king of the invincible Kenzo. Lu Ming narrowed his eyes. Another divine king had arrived. The number of divine kings of the 8th tribe was no longer comparable to the divine kings of the 8th tribe. Attack! Break their Grand Array. The divine king of the invincible Kenzo said coldly. Then, a terrifying sword light soared into the sky and slashed at the 8th tribe as if it was going to split the universe in half. Rumble! The sword light slashed at the Grand Array, causing it to shake violently. Attack! At the same time, a few demon kings and the divine kings of the Mystic Academy also attacked. All kinds of terrifying attacks landed on the Grand Array, causing it to shake violently. If the divine kings of the 8th tribe did not work together to control the Grand Array would have been broken under the attacks of so many divine kings. Even so, it was still very difficult for them to withstand the attacks. Rumble! Outside, the attacks were relentless. After more than an hour, the attacks finally stopped. Retreat! Then, a demon king gave an order. Countless demon kings retreated and stood in the distance, looking coldly at the 8th tribe. The fiendish demons did not give up. They retreated just to recuperate. When they recovered to their peak state, they would definitely continue to attack. Sure enough, 2 days later, the fiendish demons, the Mystic Academy, and the invincible Kenzo launched another attack. After attacking for a while, they retreated again to recuperate. We can't go on like this. The energy of the Grand Array will be depleted sooner or later. If the Grand Array is broken, we won't be able to stop them. In the 8th tribe, a group of experts gathered together to discuss matters. An elder sighed and said, "What should we do? Is our tribe really going to be wiped out this time?" Another elder said with a sorrowful expression, "Our tribe must not be wiped out. In our current situation, we can only retreat to the first tribe and ally with the first tribe. Only then will we have a chance to survive." The chief of the 8th tribe said, "What do you mean by retreat? Are we going to give up our ancestral land that has been passed down for countless years?" Someone said with a trembling voice. The ancestral land of the 8th tribe had been passed down for countless years. There were all kinds of cultivation, sacred grounds, and blood pools. It was the root of their tribe's prosperity. It would be a great loss to give it up. Chapter 2849. No matter how important the ancestral land is, we need people to be alive. Only when people are alive can we ensure the survival of the tribe. The chief of the 8th tribe said with a firm voice. The other chief elders all sighed. In fact, not only the 8th tribe, some other tribes should also prepare to retreat to the 1st tribe. The 1st tribe is the strongest among the 10 tribes. Only by uniting all the tribes can we compete with the demons and outsiders. Otherwise, we will be defeated one by one. The chief of the 8th tribe said again. Okay, I agree to retreat. Me too. In the end, all the founding elders nodded and agreed to retreat. In such a situation, only by retreating could they survive. Otherwise, they would die sooner or later. Prepare to retreat. The order of the chief of the 8th tribe was soon spread throughout the tribe. Although many people were unwilling, there was nothing they could do. They had to retreat. The grand formation continued to be activated. All the people of the 8th tribe retreated to the 1st tribe through another exit. Lu Ming followed the army. The 1st tribe was the strongest among the 10 tribes. It was also the tribe with the longest history. It was said that it was close to the core area of the descendants of the ancient god clan. Lu Ming had come here to find experts to spar with. Without a doubt, the 1st tribe was also caught in the flames of war. However, the people of the other tribes kept retreating to the 1st tribe, which greatly increased the strength of the 1st tribe and finally stabilized the situation. But relatively speaking, the demons that besieged the other tribes also gathered. The 1st tribe was also facing a big problem and had to activate the grand formation to resist. As time went by, all the tribes retreated to the 1st tribe. Needless to say, those tribes were all occupied by the demons and the Qin Tian 13 sects. The people of the Qin Tian 13 sects, the Ice Soul tribe, and the Flaming tribe are almost all here. Standing on the majestic city wall, Lu Ming looked outside and saw the Qin Tian 13 sects, the Ice Soul tribe, and the Flaming tribe. However, he did not see any familiar faces. For example, Ouyang Qingxiang, Yu Linglong, and Bing Qing. Outside the 1st tribe, the demons were roaring and attacking desperately. On this day, Gu Hongshan found Lu Ming. Lu Ming, the chiefs are looking for you. Gu Hongshan said. The various patriarchs are looking for me. Lu Ming was a little stunned. The chiefs of the major tribes wanted to see him. What do you want with him? I'm not sure either. The patriarch told me to look for you. Gu Hongshan was also confused. Let's go. Lu Ming nodded and followed Gu Hongshan to a huge stone palace. Lu Ming, go in alone. You can't go in without my orders. Gu Hongshan said. All right. Lu Ming nodded and walked into the main hall, puzzled. In the main hall, there were 2 rows of seats, each occupied by some people. Above, there was another person sitting on the main seat. These people all looked rather old, but their auras were exceptionally powerful. They were as unfathomable as the abyss. There were 10 people in total, including the chief of the 8th tribe. Patriarchs of the 10 major tribes of the ancient god clan. Lu Ming understood that these were the chiefs of the top 10 tribes of the ancient god clan. Lu Ming greets the chiefs. May I know why you're looking for me? Lu Ming brought his fists together and said to the 10 chiefs. Their eyes scanned Lu Ming as if they were trying to see through Lu Ming. Lu Ming, you're not a descendant of the ascetic cultivators, but an outsider. Suddenly, the chief of the 1st tribe spoke, which made Lu Ming's heart beat rapidly. Exposed. Lu Ming's first reaction was that his identity had been exposed. What should he do? Lu Ming thought quickly, but he did not say anything. Lu Ming, although you can fool others, you can't fool us. Your tricks show that you're from the outside world. You should be from the tribe guarding the world gate. The chief of the 1st tribe spoke again. The other 9 chiefs looked at Lu Ming with bright eyes. What do you mean by guarding the world gate? Are they talking about the descendants of the ancient god mountain? That must be the case. The bronze gate is the world gate they're talking about. The descendants of the ancient god mountain are guarding that gate. In an instant, many thoughts flashed through Lu Ming's mind. He nodded and said, Not bad. I knew you were from the Guardian tribe. But it's been so many years. Is your tribe still doing well? Asked the 1st tribe chief. Lu Ming shook his head. Not good. My tribe is very weak in the outside world, and many of our inheritances have been lost. I don't even know many things about the descendants of the ancient god mountain. Since they thought he was from the guardian tribe, then he might as well pretend to be from that tribe. Furthermore, Lu Ming had interacted with that tribe before. If they didn't even know about the Bronze Gate, then they probably didn't know about the world and secrets behind it. Clearly, too much time had passed, and many of their inheritances had been lost. No wonder. But it's been so long. It's lucky that your tribe still exists. The 10 tribe chiefs nodded, agreeing with Lu Ming's words. Apart from that tribe, who else could condense the heart of the ancient god? This was also the reason why they let Lu Ming stay here, and even taught Lu Ming the ancient god technique. After all, the guardian tribe outside was also a descendant of the ancient god mountain. Tribe chiefs, I'm looking for Lu Ming today because of this matter. Lu Ming asked again. That was because he had a feeling that the gathering of the 10 clan chiefs was not as simple as it seemed. No, we're looking for you because of another matter. The first tribe chief paused for a moment, then said, "We need your help." My help? Lu Ming was stunned. These tribe chiefs were all divine kings. Why would they need a true god's help? Lu Ming was puzzled. Right now, my tribe is facing the joint attack of the demons and outsiders. The situation is very unfavorable. If this continues, my tribe won't be able to hold on for long. The first tribe chief said. Lu Ming didn't say anything and listened quietly. He knew that the other party had more to say. Now, there's only one way to save my tribe and defeat the enemies, and that is to awaken the ancestor spirit. The first tribe chief said. Awaken the ancestor's spirit? Lu Ming was puzzled. Yes, in the center of my tribe, there's an ancestral land. Legend has it that the ancestor's spirit of the ancient god is sealed there. As long as the seal is broken, the ancestor's spirit will be able to come out. The souls of our ancestors have terrifying power. If we set up a formation to control them, it will be enough to repel the attacks of the demons and outsiders. It might even be possible to completely eliminate the threat of the demons in the northern wasteland. The first tribe chief said. Chapter 2850. Seniors, what do you need me to do? How can I release the ancestor's spirit? Lu Ming asked. The ancestor's soul is sealed in a bronze altar in the ancestral land. This bronze altar is located in the depths of a devil lake. That devil lake contains a mysterious power. The stronger one's cultivation base is, the stronger the repulsive force will be. The weaker one's cultivation base is, the weaker the repulsive force will be. Furthermore, only those with a strong ancient god bloodline can enter. Since ancient times, none of the descendants of the ancient gods have been able to step into the bottom of the devil lake and release the ancestor's spirit. And you awakened the green-armored ancient god physique the moment you awakened it. This is unprecedented in the history of the descendants of the ancient gods. Only you can enter the bottom of the devil lake, break the seal, and release the ancestor spirit. The first patriarch explained in detail. Lu Ming finally understood. It turned out that the ancestral land of the descendants of the ancient gods was located in a devil lake. The repulsive force of the devil lake differed depending on one's cultivation. The stronger one's cultivation, the stronger the repulsive force. It was no wonder that even the divine king couldn't do it and had to beg Lu Ming. Patriarchs, I can enter the ancestral land and release the ancestor spirit, but if I succeed, you have to promise me one thing. Lu Ming pondered for a moment and said, What is it? The first patriarch asked. To be honest, I have some friends in the outside world. Some of them came to this world this time. My condition is that if I release the ancestor spirit, you have to promise not to harm my friends. Lu Ming said. He was still worried about Ouyang Qingxiang, Yu Linglong, and the others. That's simple. What do your friends look like? When we see them, we can let them go. That's right. The 10 patriarchs nodded. This was a small matter to them. Thank you, patriarchs. Lu Ming cupped his fists in thanks. Then he took out a jade talisman and described Ouyang Qingxiang, Yu Linglong, Wu Zifeng, and Hai, and the others' appearances and auras. Then he handed it over to the 10 patriarchs. Alright, Lu Ming, come with us. The first clan leader took the lead and walked towards the back of the stone hall. Lu Ming and the others followed. After passing through a secret passage, they arrived at a barren land. Lu Ming, if you continue walking along this barren land, you will be able to see the Devil Lake. This place already has a strong repulsive force, so we won't enter. The first clan leader said. Alright. Lu Ming nodded and then stepped out, walking alone into the depths of the barren land. Let's hope he succeeds. Once the souls of our ancestors are released, our race will truly be free of worries and become stronger and stronger. Alright, let's go set up the formation. The 10 patriarchs sighed softly, revealing a look of anticipation. Then, they left to set up the formation. Once the souls of their ancestors were released, they would be able to control the souls of their ancestors. Lu Ming walked alone in the barren land. As soon as he entered, he felt a repulsive force acting on his body, as if it wanted to expel him. A roar came from Lu Ming's body. The ancient god's heart thumped loudly, and a rich ancient god aura spread out. The repulsive force actually disappeared without a trace. Lu Ming walked on the barren land with ease. The barren land was really a barren land. It was dead silent, and there was nothing in it. Lu Ming began to speed up and continued to fly forward. This area was surprisingly large. About half an hour later, a lake appeared in front of him. The lake wasn't big, but it was very strange because the lake water was pitch black. Along the way, Lu Ming had seen many strange things. He did not take it to heart. He circulated his divine power and surrounded his body. At the same time, he cast the 9-layered crimson gold armor. A crimson gold battle armor appeared on his body. Lu Ming jumped into the lake. Suddenly, Lu Ming felt a powerful force coming from all directions toward Lu Ming, trying to expel Lu Ming. It was the same repulsive force, but the force in the lake was 100 times stronger than outside. Lu Ming's protective divine power and the 9-layer scarlet golden armor had no effect on this repulsive force. Lu Ming was almost expelled. Dong dong dong. At the critical moment, the ancient god's heart beat rapidly, emitting a rich ancient god aura. As soon as the ancient god aura came out, the repulsive force outside weakened a lot, allowing Lu Ming to barely withstand it. Go down. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. He adjusted his body and dived toward the bottom of the lake. As Lu Ming went deeper, the repulsive force at the bottom of the lake became stronger. After diving for a few thousand meters, the repulsive force had reached an astonishing level. Even the aura of the ancient god's heart couldn't withstand it. Ancient god tactic? At this moment, Lu Ming used the ancient god tactic. His body swelled rapidly, transforming into the body of an ancient god. After transforming into the body of an ancient god, Lu Ming's resistance increased greatly. He blocked the repulsive force around him and began to dive faster. The demon lake was very deep. Lu Ming dived for 8,000 meters before he finally reached the bottom of the lake. A bronze altar. Lu Ming thought. The bottom of the lake was pitch black. Even if Lu Ming circulated his divine power, his vision could only see a few dozen meters away. Lu Ming still had to slowly search for it himself. Immediately, Lu Ming began to search at the bottom of the lake. After searching for more than an hour, he still found nothing. Why isn't there anything? Lu Ming frowned and continued to search patiently. That is, suddenly, Lu Ming's eyes lit up. He saw a ray of light in front of him. It was a metallic luster. Lu Ming was overjoyed. Perhaps he had found the bronze altar. Lu Ming strode forward. However, when he got closer, Lu Ming was disappointed. It wasn't a bronze altar at all. It was a bronze coffin. A purple bronze coffin that was emitting a dim luster. It looked extremely old and ancient. Lu Ming was speechless to find a purple bronze coffin at the bottom of the demon lake. I want to eat, Chiu Chiu's voice rang out. He actually pounced on the purple bronze coffin, opened his fangs, and bit the top of the coffin. Crack. The sound of metal breaking could be heard. However, it wasn't the purple bronze coffin that broke. It was Chiu Chiu's fangs. Chiu Chiu's teeth shattered all over the floor. It hurt so much. What is this thing? It's too hard. Qiuqiu jumped back onto Lu Ming's wrist and turned into a bracelet that trembled. Lu Ming was shocked. Lu Ming was very clear how good Qiuqiu's teeth were. Any metal that fell into his mouth would make a crunching sound. Even the many god kings were unable to damage the bronze door at all. Qiuqiu could still bite off a piece of it. However, Qiuqiu was unable to bite through the copper coffin at all. It did not even leave behind a single tooth mark. Chapter 2851. Amazing! This purple copper coffin is amazing! Lu Ming exclaimed, and his eyes lit up. The material of this purple copper coffin was definitely amazing. It was probably even better than the bronze door. Who is buried in this purple copper coffin? Could it be an ancient god? Lu Ming began to think. However, he did not have an answer. Forget it. Since I've found it, I'll take it away first and study it later. Lu Ming made up his mind. As a cultivator, there was nothing taboo about going against heaven. Since it was a treasure, he should not miss it. Lu Ming tested it and found that the purple copper coffin was not dangerous, so he was relieved. He held the purple copper coffin with both hands and wanted to put it into his storage ring. However, it did not move at all. Lu Ming could not carry it. Lu Ming was now in the state of the ancient god body. His strength was so strong that Lu Ming could even lift a continuous mountain range in the primitive universe, let alone a copper coffin. However, Lu Ming could not lift it no matter how hard he tried. I'd better put it in my storage ring. Lu Ming thought and took out a storage ring. A strong suction force appeared and shrouded the purple copper coffin. The purple copper coffin was indeed sucked into the storage ring. It worked. Lu Ming was overjoyed. However, before he could rejoice, the storage ring suddenly emitted a cracking sound. Cracks appeared on the surface of the storage ring. Then, with a bang, the storage ring exploded. Boom! The purple copper coffin fell to the bottom of the lake again with a loud bang. The bottom of the lake shook violently a few times. It crushed the storage ring? Lu Ming was dumbfounded. Back then, when Lu Ming obtained that ball of cold liquid, the cold liquid relied on the extreme cold power to freeze and shatter the storage ring. Now, the purple copper coffin was able to crush a storage ring with its weight alone. Lu Ming was speechless. However, this was also the reason why Lu Ming's storage ring wasn't high enough. If he took out the storage rings used by god kings, he might be able to store it. More importantly, Lu Ming didn't have such a high-grade storage ring. What should we do? Don't tell me you can't take it away? Lu Ming was speechless. Back then, Lu Ming had been able to refine the icy liquid with the ice shackles. However, Lu Ming wasn't able to refine the copper coffin. Kid, use this picture scroll. There's a space within the picture scroll. It should be able to hold it. At this moment, Gu Mo's voice sounded. Why didn't you say so earlier? Lu Ming was speechless. If you didn't ask, why should I tell you? Bone said disdainfully. Lu Ming was speechless. Then, Lu Ming controlled the picture scroll to fly out and roll it toward the copper coffin. As expected, the copper coffin was sucked in. Lu Ming waited for a while. The painting was safe and sound. There were no problems. Lu Ming was overjoyed and put the picture scroll away. Then, Lu Ming began to search at the bottom of the lake. Another hour passed. Found it. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. He finally saw a bronze altar. The altar was as tall as a person and was made of bronze. It was very similar to the material of the bronze gate. However, it looked very old and had no spirituality. The first clan leader said that I can break this altar with the ancient god body and release the ancient god soul. I don't know if it's true. Let's give it a try. Lu Ming pondered. He then took a step forward and punched the altar. Boom! The altar shook and runes appeared on it. These runes intertwined to form a formation. However, this formation did not stop Lu Ming at all. Lu Ming's fist went through the formation and hit the altar. It's working! Lu Ming's eyes lit up. He guessed that if it was not someone from the ancient god tribe, the formation would have blocked it. However, if it was someone from the ancient god tribe, the formation would be fine. Or, if it was someone with a strong ancient god bloodline, the formation would not block it. Boom! Boom! Lu Ming threw out continuous punches. His huge fists bombarded the altar continuously. The altar kept shaking. Soon, a cracking sound came from the altar. Lu Ming saw that there was a crack on it. Suddenly, a roar came from the altar, and a strong ancient god aura came out of the crack. It's really the ancient god soul. Continue. Lu Ming continued to bombard the altar. Finally, there was a loud bang and the altar exploded. An earth-shattering roar came out. At the same time, a powerful aura soared into the sky. Then, Lu Ming saw a huge figure appear between heaven and earth. But this figure was simply too huge. Just the soles of its feet were already taller than the 8,000-meter lake. The water of the entire lake was stirred up into the sky and disappeared. Lu Ming discovered that he had appeared in a huge pit. An ancient god stood between heaven and earth. It was really an ancient god. This ancient god was indomitable. It was at least 1,000,000 meters tall, and its body was covered in black scales. This is the ancient god's soul? It's too big. Oh my god. Lu Ming sucked in a breath of cold air. Boy, you really haven't seen the world. This is nothing. Let me tell you, this is just a wisp of the ancient god's remnant soul. A real ancient god is much bigger than this. Much, much bigger. Do you understand? Quantum Formula seized the opportunity to mock Lu Ming. How big is it? Lu Ming asked subconsciously. Your planet of life must be very big. I have seen an ancient god whose fist is bigger than your planet of life. Quantum Formula said. His fist is bigger than a planet of life? Lu Ming was really speechless. It was too terrifying. He was afraid that a planet would explode with one punch. And the huge ancient god in front of him was just a wisp of the ancient god's remnant soul. Why are his scales black? Lu Ming was puzzled. According to the ancient god's tactics, the highest level of cultivation should be the purple scales. But the scales on the surface of the ancient god's remnant soul were black. It's normal. This is the original color of this ancient god. The ancient god tactics you cultivate to purple scales is far from the peak. After cultivating to the peak, they will also be black, but the power at that time, TSK, will be amazing. Quantum Formula said. It turns out that purple scales are not the highest level. Lu Ming looked expectant. If he cultivated the ancient god tactics to the highest level and his scales turned black, would he have the power of an ancient god? Exploding a planet with one punch, that kind of strength was really terrifying. The ancient god's soul roared, shaking the heavens and the earth. The entire world was shaking. Then the ancient god's soul stepped out and walked in the direction of the first tribe. Chapter 2852. At this time, somewhere in the first tribe, the 10 patriarchs had gathered. They had already set up a large formation. Suddenly, the 10 patriarchs looked in the direction of the barren land with ecstasy on their faces. Success, Lu Ming has succeeded. The ancestral spirit has come out. Our ancient ancestors sealed the ancestral spirit with the purpose of protecting our tribe when we face a crisis. Now it has finally come out. The 10 patriarchs were overjoyed. At the same time, they secretly rejoiced. The ancestral spirit was sealed by the Almighty of the ancient god descendants. The purpose was to prevent the ancient god tribe from facing a great calamity in the future. However, the ancient god tribe had withered until now, and no one could break the seal. This time, if it weren't for Lu Ming, even if they had the ancestral spirit, they wouldn't have been able to release it. Boom, boom. The ancestral spirit stepped on the ground. Every step it took caused the ground to rumble as it walked out. This also alarmed the people in the ancient god tribe. What's going on? Why is there a violent vibration in the depths of the tribe? Did something happen in the depths of the tribe? Many of the ancient god descendants were a little flustered. Don't worry, this is the ancestral spirit released by the patriarchs to deal with external enemies. Don't worry. A senior figure comforted the crowd, and everyone was relieved. In the barren land, Lu Ming watched the ancestral spirit slowly walk away. He was about to follow it to see what was going on. I want to eat, Chiu Chiu shouted and flew out. He grabbed a piece of broken bronze from the bronze altar and ate it. Crunch, crunch, Qiuqiu ate with relish. Soon, a piece of bronze was finished by Qiuqiu. Then he rushed to another piece and ate it. This ball is really lucky. This bronze is not inferior to the bronze of the bronze gate. After he digests it, I'm afraid he will be greatly improved. Guimo said with some envy. Lu Ming was also overjoyed. He waited here with peace of mind. The ancestral spirit walked step by step, and soon, it was not far from the first tribe. Formation activate. The 10 patriarchs activated the array at the same time. The array emitted boundless light, and in the end, an ancient god phantom condensed. This ancient god phantom turned into a ray of light and flew towards the ancient god soul. Finally, it entered the ancient god soul's forehead and disappeared. Souls of the ancient gods, kill! Shouted the chief of the first tribe. They controlled the grand spell formation, and then the souls of the ancient gods stepped into the air and headed out of the first tribe. That is, an ancient god? All the descendants of the ancient god were shocked as they watched the soul of the ancient god fly out of the first tribe and rush towards the army of demons. What's that? At this moment, the demons and the outsiders were all astonished. Roar! The soul of the ancient god roared, causing the heavens and earth to tremble. Amidst the roar, mountains began to crumble. Boom! Then, the soul of the ancient god attacked and slapped the fiendish demon army. The palm of the ancient god's soul was enormous. With a single slap, at least tens of thousands of fiendish demons were smashed into meat paste. Ancient god's soul. It's the ancient god's soul. Damn it! A fiendish demon king roared. So what if it's the ancient god's soul? Watch me destroy it. A tiger-shaped demon king, whose body was so huge that it looked like a mountain, stared ferociously at the ancient god's soul. In the next moment, the tiger-shaped demon king pounced on the ancient god's soul, bringing with it an endless gust of wind. This demon king was extremely ferocious and wanted to tear the ancient god's soul to shreds. Although his body was not as tall as the ancient god's soul's knees, his aura was monstrous. Kill! The ancient god's soul shouted coldly and pressed down with its palm. This palm directly broke all the tiger-shaped demon king's attacks. It pressed the tiger-shaped demon king's body to the ground as if it was a toad. Rumble! The ground exploded, creating a huge crater. Countless fiendish demons on the side were affected and died tragically. Ah! The tiger-shaped demon king screamed and vomited blood. It was severely injured in an instant. At this moment, countless fiendish demons, demon kings, and the god kings of Qin Tian Star Field were all shocked. That demon king was a god king expert, but it was suppressed just like that. Quick, come and save me, save me. The tiger-shaped demon king screamed in horror. Kill! The ancient god's soul shouted. It grabbed the tiger-shaped demon king with both hands and tore it with all its might. The tiger-shaped demon king's soul was destroyed by the terrifying power. A demon king was killed just like that. Countless fiendish demons, demon kings, and the experts of Qin Tian Star Field were all shocked. The ancient god's soul roared and stepped forward. It clenched its fists and punched out continuously. A large number of fiendish demons were directly blasted into pieces. Run, run quickly! Countless fiendish demons fled frantically. Want to escape? In the first tribe, the 10 patriarchs shouted in unison. They controlled the ancient god's soul to kill the demon kings and the god kings of Qin Tian Star Field. The ancient god's soul was too powerful. It was so powerful that it could destroy heaven and earth. With a punch, it killed a demon king in the air. Run, run! This time, the demon kings and the god kings of Qin Tian Star Field were all frightened and fled for their lives. The ancient god's soul ignored the ordinary fiendish demons and focused on the demon kings and the god kings of Qin Tian Star Field. Bam! Bam! The soul of an ancient god could kill a god king with a single punch. With 2 consecutive punches, another 2 demons were killed. After that, it set its sights on a god king from the Qin Heavenly Star Field and chased after him. No, no! This God King was the one from the Mystic Academy. At this moment, he was extremely frightened and was running for his life. However, how could his speed be compared to the ancient God's soul? The ancient God's soul caught up with him in a few steps and punched with both fists. Bam! Bam! The God King of the Mystic Academy was smashed into the ground by the ancient God's soul. He coughed out blood and his body almost cracked. It had to be said that the godly monarchs that had come from the Qin Sky Star domain this time were all extremely strong. The other demons were killed by the ancient God souls with one punch each. However, the godly monarchs of the Hybrid Demon Academy were still alive after 2 punches. However, he was severely injured and on the verge of death. "Save me! Save me!" The God King of the Mystic Academy screamed in agony. He wanted to call for help. However, the others were all running for their lives. Who would care about him? Bam! Then, the ancient God's soul took a step forward and stomped on the body of the God King of the Mystic Academy. This time, the God King was stomped into meat paste. He was dead. Then, the ancient God's soul continued to chase after the other experts. The next one was the God King of the Invincible Kenzo. This person was also very powerful. Unfortunately, he did not manage to escape and was killed by the ancient God's soul. He followed in the footsteps of the God King of the Mystic Academy. Chapter 2853. The ancient God's soul was invincible and powerful. Coupled with its incredible speed, it could easily kill ordinary supreme beings. In just a short while, 10 supreme beings and 5 supreme beings from the Qin Tian starfield had been killed by the ancient God's soul. Boom! The ancient God's soul charged towards another supreme being. It was the supreme being from the Ice Soul tribe. "I'm doomed!" The supreme being from the Ice Soul tribe roared in his heart, thinking that he was doomed. However, when the ancient God's soul arrived before him, it did not continue to attack. Instead, it glanced at him coldly before actually charging past him and killing the God King from the Flare clan. In just a few moves, the God King from the Flare clan was killed. The supreme being from the Ice Soul tribe was exhausted after surviving the ordeal. At the same time, he was puzzled. Why didn't the ancient God's soul kill me? That's strange. Forget it, I'll retreat with my tribesmen. The supreme being from the Ice Soul tribe secretly rejoiced. Then, he quickly left with some of his tribesmen and fled in the direction of the base they had built. Naturally, he did not know that the reason the ancient God's soul did not kill him was because of Lu Ming. Previously, Lu Ming had given the images of the people he wanted to protect to the 10 tribe leaders. The 10 tribe leaders could control the ancient God's soul and see what the ancient God's soul could see. The supreme being from the Ice Soul tribe was one of the images Lu Ming had described. That was why the ancient God's soul did not kill him. Kill all the demons. At this moment, an elder from the first tribe roared, "Kill!" Then, the army of the ancient God's descendants swarmed out and charged towards the army of demons. At this moment, the army of demons was defeated. They could not resist and fled in all directions. Soon, the army of the ancient God's descendants caught up and killed them. The supreme beings from the 10 tribes cooperated with the ancient God's soul to kill the demon kings and supreme beings from the Qin Tian starfield. It was a massacre that lasted for half a day before it came to an end. As the ancient God's soul was too far away from the first tribe, it was difficult for the 10 tribe leaders to control it. The army of the ancient God's tribe returned to the capital. The first tribe was in a sea of cheers. It was a glorious battle. More than 20 fiendish demon kings were killed. The total number of demon kings in the northern wasteland Devil Plain was only around 40. More than half of them had died, and the demon kings were greatly weakened. They were no longer a match for the descendants of the ancient gods. More than 10 god kings from the Qin heavenly star field also died. The others had all fled. When Lu Ming came out of the barren land, there were celebrations everywhere in the first tribe. Looks like it's a huge victory. Lu Ming smiled. Afterwards, the 10 tribe leaders met with Lu Ming and expressed their gratitude to him. They even gave Lu Ming a pile of heavenly treasures, including many ancient divine flowers. Lu Ming naturally accepted them without any hesitation. Not long after, the armies of the other tribes began to return to their own tribes. Lu Ming also returned to the 8th tribe. The demons of the 8th tribe and the experts of the Qin Heavenly Star Field had already left. The 8th tribe was in a mess. All the treasures had been plundered. Even the blood pool had been plundered, and it had almost dried up. Someone entered the blood pool to awaken the ancient god body. The leader of the 8th tribe frowned. Lu Ming was shocked and said, "Can someone who is not a descendant of the ancient gods awaken the ancient god body?" However, Lu Ming immediately thought of himself. He himself was not a descendant of the ancient gods. After a series of opportunities, he also awakened the ancient god body at a surprisingly high level. Yes, but it's very difficult. Talent, willpower, and opportunities are all indispensable. The leader of the 8th tribe nodded. Then he ordered his subordinates to organize the 8th tribe. Lu Ming stayed in the 8th tribe for another 10 days. At this time, Lu Ming said goodbye to the leader of the 8th tribe. After all, he did not belong here. Sooner or later he would have to leave. Lu Ming, it's been hard on you to guard the gate of this world. If there's a chance in the future, send some talents here to cultivate. The leader of the 8th tribe said, "Okay, thank you, leader." Lu Ming nodded. He wondered if the leader of the 8th tribe would slap him to death if he knew that he was not a descendant of the ancient gods. After that, Lu Ming said goodbye to Gu Ming, Gu Hongshan, and the others. Then he went alone in the direction where they first entered this world. Nothing happened along the way. Half a month later, Lu Ming returned to the base of the Ice Soul clan. Another base had been built here. The people of the Ice Soul clan were guarding this place. During this time, the 10 tribes of the ancient gods' descendants did not pursue the experts of the Qin Tian Star Field. During this time, the army of the 10 tribes went north and fought with the remaining forces of the demons. "Who is it?" Someone shouted as soon as Lu Ming approached. It was a critical time. The people of the Ice Soul clan were on high alert. "It's me, Lu Ming. I want to see your 9th young lord." Lu Ming said loudly. "It's you, young Lord Lu Ming." The people of the Ice Soul clan recognized Lu Ming. "Wait a moment. We'll go and report to the 9th young lord." The people of the Ice Soul clan went in to report. Soon, Bing Qing flew out with her people. Lu Ming was relieved to see that Bing Qing was fine. "Lu Ming, you're fine. That's great." Bing Qing was happy to see Lu Ming. "Brother Bing, how have you been all these years?" Lu Ming and Bing Qing entered the base and chatted. After chatting, Lu Ming learned a little about Bing Qing's experience over the years. Back then, after they were separated, Bing Qing followed a few experts from the Ice Soul clan and hid in the forest. Later on, after the Ice Soul clan's divine king gathered them, they gathered together and acted in secret. Later on, they participated in besieging the descendants of the ancient god. After they were defeated, Lu Ming fled to this place and had been vigilant. This time, the major forces of the Qin Tian Star Field suffered heavy losses in the attack on the descendants of the ancient god. There were 15 forces and 15 divine kings. 10 of them died in the battle and only 5 survived. Fortunately, the divine king of the Ice Soul clan is still alive. "We're so lucky." Bing Qing sighed. Lu Ming smiled. He knew what was going on and did not say much. Later, Lu Ming learned that the divine kings of the Mystic Academy, Invincible Kenzo, and Flaming Flame race were all dead. Lu Ming sneered in his heart. This was just some interest. Lu Ming would not let go of their previous conflict. However, although the major forces suffered heavy losses this time, those who survived also gained a lot. Many of them obtained great opportunities when they attacked the tribes of the ancient gods' descendants. Bing Qing said, "Great opportunities?" Lu Ming was puzzled. "Some of them are so lucky that they cultivated the ancient gods' descendants' ultimate technique, the ancient god body. Once they activate it, they can transform into the body of an ancient god and their strength will increase tremendously." Bing Qing explained with envy in her eyes. "You're tuning in to the Han Li's Immortal Journey YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.